Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that we're finally running a double elimination. Competitive integrity at its highest, and I'm really excited to see it because, you get a team that gets knocked out and you think, oh, what if they had been versing this team? Alas, double elimination allows them to then get a second chance, and I think that's really important.
I mean, there's no what ifs now.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. You remove a lot of the random factor and the one chance of losing against a team that could beat you. Now you have chances to get payback.
Yeah, and any grand final can happen. That's another big thing to highlight. But let's start off with our matches. We have 4 to go with. 2 of them we'll be handling for this day. Well, DarkZero is our first team, so let's expose their roster. If you haven't seen them so far, they're one of the best teams that have ever played the game, and that's why they're in here at Invitational and through into the playoffs. Highly technical, to say the least, have been for their entire history. It's hyper hot and cold, Eclipse, Skies, and Mint, a level of teamwork that is so rarely seen. This team represents one of the pinnacle levels of play in Siege on a pure teamwork and timing-based level.
I mean, they look to try and play Siege a little bit more modern, I'd say. They go down these avenues of trying things that we haven't seen that much and really rely on executes. Sometimes, if you win your gunfights and get to that execute, they are demolishing people. If they don't get there, though, it's another story.
Absolutely agree, yeah. Look, DZ, they're a team that's built by culture, and I think that shows in their gameplay as well, so that's really important as well.
Very much so, and you can see that in their team house, in their post organization. This is a team that functions on a different level. Though their opponents, BDS, we finally have a full French team back in Pro League, and here they are playing here at Invitational, a dark horse that made it through the Invitational qualifiers online from EU, and they here online proved that they very much are worthy of this position. Shaiko, Alems, Renshiro, Rafal, and RXWD. They're monsters online. They proved it here on LAN again. This is the old school of play, and then Shaiko kind of rejuvenated the whole thing to allow them to gun even harder than before. So it really is a big clash of play styles in this case, Jess.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's really strong with BDS is their mechanical skill. They have outrageously strong mechanical skill, and I think that allows them to bolster what they've already got in strategies, in skill sets, in utility usage, and then just go that little bit further that other teams might not be able to gauge. So I think that makes them strong that way. I think they do lack in other areas, which their mechanical skill makes up for, and that might not do well against a team like DZ.
No, the interesting thing is going to be this whole idea of if they can push Shaiko and get him while he's in a spot, then DZ probably has a pretty good chance. But if they let him loose, then it's another story. And Ilims as an anchor, he is terrifying.
That's something we'll touch on a bit more detail. But first, we have a video talking about both of these teams and what you can expect of them. Let's show it. Enjoy.
Hello, this is Hot and Cold. I'm the support player for DarkZero.
So I'm Alems, and I'm a flex support player for Team BDS.
Last game, we played against Empires. It was a rematch, kind of a grudge match. Took it to all 3 maps, lost the first map, won the second map, and then we won the third map, obviously. I think all maps were OT or close to OT. So yeah, it was a long match, and it was very fun. It was very fun to play them again.
For the last game, we played against Team Reciprocity. We won the match 2-1. It was a very close game. Every map were close, and yeah, it was close.
To us, it doesn't really matter who's our opponent, but to the fans, I think it's a big stepping stone for us. Empire is, to be the favorites of this invite, or at least everyone thinks they are, and we're just here to show them that they're not.
We knew that we can take the match home. We knew that it will be a hard match, especially after that done game when we won 8-7. It was very close, but they played very good. So they made us doubt a lot, but I'm very happy that we take the win at the end.
It feels great. I think our team has been. People call us an online team, which I never thought that was true. We've had our struggles. We've been close to, Empire in the past. We've been close to, tougher teams, and I just think it's finally clicking. And we're looking good.
Being in the 8th best team in the world right now, it's amazing. We worked a lot for it. I joined them since a month, but we work a lot in 1 month. So yeah, of course, I'm happy. Of course.
Yeah, I definitely think we've been doing better in terms of LAN performances. I think that's just like, honestly, I just want to give credit to Zach, our owner. You know, he gets us everything we need to be in the LAN environment for practice. And I think just being in a team house together and being in that LAN environment has really helped us.
I don't think there is like favorite or outsider in the Six Invitational. I think everyone is favorite or everyone is outsider. Everyone can bring it home.
These two teams are very confident going into it. They went through big opponents to get to this matchup. It means a lot for DarkZero to be able to beat Empire. BDS performed excellently as well, even though they were the second to come out of their group alongside G2. But before we dive in deeper into strategy, it's kind of better to have those maps up in front of us, right? So let's go through the map veto real quick here and select the 3 maps that we'll go with. Again, in Siege Competitive, we have a 7-map pool. The way this starts is ban, ban, pick, pick, ban, ban, and that decider is the 7th map still left. So Villain Clubhouse will be eliminated. Clubhouse, a bit of a surprise for me. I thought it would be a decider, but we'll go for our first pick first, and it'll be Border for BDS, something French teams have been very comfortable with in the past. So this is a very interesting pick, even though it's not been played that often. Map 2 on the picks is Consulate. Okay, we're going to talk about this one for a second here, because I think we kind of love seeing Consulate between these two teams. Our 2 bans, we'll put them up 1 first, leave us with 2 for decider. Bank is out. Okay, this is really flipping everything on its head, but we'll explain why in just a second. And lastly, Coastline as a decider. DarkZero had the final pick, and that was Cafe Dostoyevsky eliminated. So, Border, Consulate, and Coastline. Just for a second, that bank ban, what does it mean?
I definitely think they felt a little jittered from it when they previously played it. And
BDS, that is, for people that didn't see it.
Of course, absolutely. And I think when you run on a map where you just don't feel confident and the next day you're expected to then play it, I don't think the team's going to be feeling in that mentality whatsoever. So for them, that's more of a comfort ban, and coming alongside after the initial bans makes sense.
One thing that really stands out is Coastline going through, because we've seen DC hide that up until now, and it's a fairly 50-50 thing if teams actually just ban, like BDS and Villa, or if they hide them for big events. So that shows a lot of, they're really confident going into this.
Okay, so let's talk about Border, our first map in this series, focus on it a bit. So one thing we've been seeing with French teams in general is that going to Border is something that they're comfortable with. We'll see the odd, Teller's Bathroom being played, and they'll just keep playing around it all the time. 2 players to look out for in this matchup, those coming up in our head-to-head. So we show that here for just a second. I want to highlight a specific part of the statistics. It's Hyper and Shaiko, and you look at those opening kills. 2 players that kind of have those similar roles, but Hyper's on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that comes down to Shaiko actually taking a lot of the flex role on attack these days. I think he is more focusing on things like hard breaching, utilizing Habana, how she's meant to be utilized. And I think for Hyper, his job is to be that first engaging fragger. So I think that's why we're sort of seeing his opening kills be that +7, whereas Shaiko's, the -1 at the moment.
Equal ratings, so they both have pretty much a good impact on every single round. That's what that rating really means.
Yeah, but we generally rate opening kills a little harder or a little higher than everything else, because it has such a big impact on your likelihood of not losing extra players, keeping utility, all that stuff really matters. But you can see Shaiko has more kills, so he's making up for it during the game.
Basically, so it's a different way of playing it. One's more entry early on in the round, the other is just actively moving around it, especially on defense. That's something we talk about on Border. Roam game for BDS on Border is very strong. They're always comfortable in walking around it, gaining control, and Shaiko is the man that really does it, with DarkZero always kind of in the back. If you want to compare it to Empire, this is basically having joystick with Kajeka behind him 24/7.
Yeah, when you've got a comfortable duo like that, you can be confident that you're going to get either refragged or refrag your teammate. So I think that's a strong part of their duo and their roaming capability. But overall, we'll see how they do on Border today.
And Alem specifically, as an anchor, the man is unmovable, and a rock that usually on defense, BDS tends to gravitate around.
I mean, he is the death turret from France. It is terrifying. If you know he's in a spot, your best bet is to use whatever utility you have to get him out of that, because it's not worth it taking the gunfight.
And looking at Border, what are some hotspots that you expect him or Shaiko in general to be around as well? What are the places that we would expect an engagement between
I
teams.
would like to see Shaiko sort of play around CCTV. It's a hotly contested room if you can contest it, but once you're there, you're there. So I do want to see their capability going, okay, we want to spread ourselves across the map. We want to take ownership of it, and if you want to get in, you have to engage us at the front door.
Yeah, I agree. I think they have to play fairly aggressive because you can get a lot of attacks done on border without really entering too much of the building, and they need to hit pretty hard early round on defense at least. On BDS's attack, I think it's a little bit of a different story. They can move a lot more freely.
Yeah, and this is the thing with BDS, that sometimes they're a bit shaky on attack because they have to drone so much. Border is a map that really fits the playstyle because you don't need to scout as much. You're kind of limited on the amount of hard points that you can hold on to as a defender, so it works well with BDS's functionality, basically. But operator bans, what do you expect? Quick thoughts before we head into game, please.
I would expect a hard breaching ban, and I would also expect a Valkyrie ban coming out as well, probably via BDS.
Fair enough. Alex?
I think DC's gonna chance it and throw whatever attack ban in there. Their highest ban is 8%
Thatcher.
of thermite, so Thatcher hit them hard on bank. I don't think it's gonna hit us hard on border. Maybe a Kaib ban.
Map predictions?
I think DZ's done well on border, so DZ for map 1. The others, I'm going to see how map 1 goes.
Yeah, we'll hold it. Alex?
I'm with you on the DC.
All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's head on to game. So please, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with Six Invitational Playoff Stage 1. It's DarkZero versus BDS, NA versus EU. Casters, take it away.
Thank you very much, Milos. And ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our very first playoff match live from SI 2020. My name is Blue, and I'll be joined here on the casting desk by Stokes. This very first match of the day, and what a match it is going to be, Stokes. We've had a brilliant run come out from DarkZero throughout the group stage. Same to be said for BDS, as their first reappearance here to LAN in quite some time. And I think now it's going to make for this really epic clash of NA versus EU. Just to start our double elimination bracket off. Let's not waste any time, though, ladies and gentlemen. Map number 1. Let's get into it. It's border.
It was a long break day yesterday, folks, so let's jump right into it. Let's see if our analysts that are now here are correct, and DarkZero will take map 1. We're expecting a hard breach ban. You heard that. Not going to get it just yet, though. We'll get rid of Nomad, which is a regular thing here on border, just to allow you to move around freely.
BDS making that choice, though, because them and DarkZero both align on average bans, but actually neither one is going to take it this time, whereas historically we've almost always seen Thermite get banned out by these two on this map. Now, not going to be either of them. We'll end up with just entirely utility bans. Nomad getting knocked out to deal with the anti-roam, Capitao to deal with some of that execute utility.
Yeah, these bans are moving very quickly, so you can tell this is already pre-planned as to what they wanted to do. BDS taking a little bit of time. Mirror ban just to prevent a little bit of setup for the defense. Don't want them to bunker too hard inside of mini and or archives or something along those lines. But between these two on border, the last time it was played by BDS, they played against it on Rec in our previous day here at the Six Invitational. Won at 7-4. If you guys saw, Rec lost to a pesky little yokai drone on the ceiling. But last ban we will have from BDS is going to be the Maestro. Get that all out of here.
Again, we've been seeing the ban shift a little bit more on that at this event, with some teams choosing to knock him out. But again, that's going to leave Echo in the pool, which became very dangerous, at least for BDS's opponent in their last matchup. So I think the BDS is trying to double down on that a little bit and see if they're going to be able to utilize it, especially in these late round situations where an IQ may not be checking for the yokai's whereabouts. Either way, though, we won't see him on the initial pick. We're going downstairs first as BDS starts on defense here and goes with a little bit more of a roam-centric lineup. Actually all 5 operators being capable of doing that. But the 6th pick, there it is. That will bring in the Echo.
Just remember the last time that we saw a lot of Echo here by BDS, there was a lot of trouble to be had for reciprocity. So you look to your IQ of Skies to see if you can get that job done and assist him with that utility on site. He's got a lot to do, though. Full plate for him. Valkyrie, Legion, and Echo along with those pests. That's a lot of electronics to keep track of. And you can even throw Shaiko in there for good measure.
I am very curious to see how BDS is going to try to play, or how actively they're going to try to maintain control over the map on defense, given the operator ladder that they've brought to the table, looking to try and disrupt DZ in many of their pushes. We know the control is a big part of DarkZero's strategy for executes, so if BDS can deny that in some of the larger and more important areas of this map, it could restrict DarkZero's capability to execute in clean fashion and cause them to drop rounds.
Office hold for BDS, but what else would you expect? We're on events defense, as we were talking about earlier. You're going to see a lot of top pressure. Actually, all of BDS currently upstairs, or Fall and RXWD, both inside of CCTV.
setting up those yokais. Rafal will place the first one just under the vents inside of the room with the name of itself. Let's see where that second one is going just yet, but we'll try to check that out. And now Sky's going to start scouting out some of this utility, seeing what he can find. More importantly, looking for those yokai cams, or excuse me, those Valkyrie cams than anything at this point. And he did manage to spot one sitting on the outside pole just as we peeked away from his point of view.
Clips breaking up the board on the roof to get up on the AC vents. Here we go, so he can get that perfect nade down dome. Laser on the gun as well, just to make sure those skeleton key shots land where he needs them to land. Has an ADS in the middle of the floor though, so Shaiko should be safe from any grenades.
Shaiko waiting for the opening to breach through, but no, the angle comes in from the window. Instead, it's Mint that finds the opener. Rafal will be there a moment later though, still with CCTV control as he managed to catch Hyper on his entry into East Stairs.
Drone comes down from Dome, gotta make sure that Fountain's clear, but still plenty of pressure up top. Not even halfway through the round yet though. Plenty of action already to be had. Hyper dead, Shaiko dead as well, so the two top frags both lay in the dirt while the rest of them are gonna have to try and find a way to figure out this round.
Rafal still waiting for more pressure to work his way in, more from that south door leading in towards break room more than anything at the moment, whereas previously he was much more concerned with the east stairs. Eclipse also waiting for his chance to try and hop in the window. Still a good amount of time remaining for DarkZero to try and continue to take control, but it definitely seems like BDS are doing good work of throwing a wrench in the works for these guys. Skies, though, will continue to proceed further onward for DarkZero. He's going to be able to take out Rafal. An attempt at a Nitro Cell against Mint, but it will not connect. He's able to get completely away from the damage zone.
DarkZero doing a great job of choking out the upstairs hold, and they will be successful. They now have top control. They just need to drone it out as the Limbs drops down low. So now Limbs, Renshiro, and RXWD all downstairs. Still a lot on Sky's plate to get rid of all of this utility, but Eclipse will start breaking up the flooring here at 44 seconds.
Guys doing great work right now to clear out that utility. That was a big part of BDS's strategy to try and delay DarkZero, who was tripping them up with that, and then using the trip-ups to leverage into kills, but that really hasn't panned out at all, to be completely honest, for BDS in this round. Hyper was caught just by a good position that had been maintained by Rafal, and besides that, well, as you can see, nothing else has even been claimed by BDS, but time now getting incredibly low. This is where it could turn the tables as BDS has remained passive. They'll drone out Renshiro, hot and cold though, moving into the inside of the site. Will start the plant, he'll move in, but no, immediately gets caught by Eclipse holding the upstairs angle, and Mint and Skies will clean up the other two swiftly after that. DarkZero takes control of round number 1 with about 10 seconds left in excess.
That was a beautiful execution there, and you can see how DarkZero set that up to plant on the server because they had that hatch control instead of going for vents. Very intelligent, very good call there by Mint to adjust that instead of planting inside a vent where they could possibly get stopped by something else that they didn't know that the defense had. So very, very nice setup from them. Let's see if they can remake it though.
Right now, very typical DarkZero opener here, looking to try and steal control away through just great methodical play, whether that's droning or being able to isolate out players one by one, then eventually angle them out, as we saw in the case of Mint's kill that he was able to pick up against the players sitting in office in the early round. Followed that process through, as you said, to choke out the remaining upstairs pressure, and then once they had full hatch control, the plant was relatively easy to leverage into their control.
Yeah, DarkZero have definitely done the research on where BDS are playing and things along those lines, because you can tell from their initial take and the lineups that they were using that they knew where BDS's original position was for this setup. We had an upside down rappel on radio. That was actually the angle that killed Shaiko. He wasn't even ready for that. All because they knew that he was playing near the fountain area. They immediately got upstairs with that skeleton key with Eclipse as well to try and nade him out. So just look at the forethought that DarkZero are putting into these setups, because right now they're looking really, really good.
And this is another key thing I think that's going to be important about this matchup, is the DarkZero are playing a very similar game to what they played against Empire the other day in certain aspects. When you consider the fact that, once again, BDS is relying heavily on 1 to 2 members of their team in order to pick up impact frags. In the case of BDS right now, it's Shaiko, and then further on to the site, it's Limbs. To a certain extent, you had that with Empire as well in the cases of Joystick and Dan. They were heavily focalizing on locking down those players and often succeeded in doing that, which is what allowed them to get to the site quickly and often win out their rounds.
Yeah, we were discussing last night actually the similarities between BDS's playstyle as well as Empire's. I will say that BDS is a little bit better at attacking things that aren't default. Granted, we did see they had a lot of trouble with that with reciprocity, but their playstyles are still very similar. Obviously, there are some things that are changed, but BDS still in this tournament, Empire not, and that might be one of the main reasons right there. DarkZero, seeing that this is relatively speaking the same setup, but we are just upstairs, are going to choose to start cinching things down on offices as we have the Zofia of Hyper propel up to the eastern balcony.
Good timing on the drone, does manage to catch at least one player moving behind the office desks. Hot and cold, burning out any ADSs that might be on the inside of the western wall, but not going to be anything in position here as the first Hibana hole is opened up. Hot and cold will also get a deep drone presence to the inside here. Rafal and RXWD are the only ones that are spotted at this point. You'll notice that over here, especially on the inside of Armory, BDS are not looking for that fight in the early round right now, just looking to try and contest and hold the angles that they have deeper on in the site, closer to the lockers. Renshiro will be the most aggressive player positioned here for BDS by one of the entry doors. It seems that Hyper's aware of it though. Stun charge goes head on against Renshiro, tries to posture for a little bit of a mini peek there, but ends up backing away before the full swing is completed. Hyper, no reaction though, and it seems to be the same for the rest of DZ, as they're waiting for BDS to make the first mistake.
DarkZero sitting outside of the Armory wall right now. They already have it open, hot and cold, but doing a bang-up job of playing hard breach throughout this entire tournament. He actually has 10 plants right now through 2 matches, so very, very impressive for these guys. Actually over what they have currently in the regular season of Pro League. He has only 8 there, so DarkZero more objectively prone throughout the tournament so far. Another concussion cuts through into Archives and is actually going to end up stunning Renshiro. But as we get down to 27 seconds, not a tick of damage has been done to anybody except RXWD on the defense as DarkZero is setting up to push things into Armory. Hot and cold going for the plant right now. They have all the angles. They'll start downing Shaiko. Pressure into Beepers. Pops into Mini though. Gets ripped from Renshiro. It's still a positive win here for DarkZero. They're up 4. BDS already down to 3. We're going to have a rotate from RXWD. He moves on into break room, and this could be big here. He only has the pistol, switches over to the TCS-G12 as he only has 1 bullet in it, so he's going to have to use that pistol the whole time. Alems gets a kill, though, on the Armory wall. Diffuser still ticking, 20 seconds, but it's going to be all DarkZero across the map.
DarkZero is certainly taking a while and scaring, I would imagine, quite a few people with their capability to attack the site, but once they had west wall control and were able to get it open, problem is BDS does not have enough pressure towards half wall or anywhere else close to Mini to properly contest that plant attempt. So, given that, we'll see DarkZero get it onto the ground, and BDS's attempt at a retake, while they come close on trades, just cannot match the post-plant position that was already set up for DZ when the plant was taking place.
DarkZero's setup overall, especially on that one, it was absurdly apparent what DarkZero is attempting to do. They're setting up the angles for their diffuser plant. So, for instance, that triple stack that they put onto the Armory wall. So you can hold not only mini door, but you can also hold the rotate to half wall or from sandwich. So you can hold both of those angles. Then they pose their other 2 operators on AC and then 1 on Beeper's door. Right when they go for the plant, they start to pressure from the other areas so that BDS has multiple things to deal with. Comms get flooded, and then you get a free plant. They had nothing there to stop that diffuser from going down except the Echo. We saw earlier in the round where the Yokai went to the ceiling next to the bomb chassis. He either didn't get on it and move it, or it was shot from the skies while it was trying to transition over to stop that diffuser. So overall, an amazing setup from DarkZero, and they didn't even have to stall once while all 5 of their opponents were still on the field. That's truly impressive.
Very well done by DarkZero to leverage what could have been such a chaotic moment for them. And unfortunate for BDS for not being able to properly capitalize upon the potential manpower advantage that they had within the site. Definitely a tense situation, one that they didn't want to act upon, especially given what it went down back in round number 1 when they had overexposed themselves and overspread just a tiny bit. But now they're going to have to try and find the sweet spot. It's over to their 3rd site for round number 3, and what could be the 3rd round for DarkZero if they're not careful.
I like how BDS continues to move their side around. They're not too complacent. They don't want to stick around and continue to hit their head against the same wall. Let's present new problems and make DarkZero find new solutions. Issue is right now, though, DarkZero is kind of acting like Neil deGrasse Tyson. He just kind of knows everything, and you don't really know how to fix the issues that are presented for yourself. So BDS might need their coach to come in here and say some words just an instant, and especially if DarkZero defeats all of these sites in a row in such quick succession, because they're not having any trouble at all doing it right now.
Well, about a minute into the round, we've got a lot of opening coming in here soon for DarkZero, as they are going to prioritize the east walls into the office in order to get some access to the site and start pinching out the defensive pressure. One player on the defense already going to fall back. That was Renshiro holding position here. The Ella, played by Alems, however, is still going to be present. But hello, a nade going in, and thankfully for Alems, it is caught by that ADS placed in the middle of the room.
The club's trying to time it early enough to where the ADS wouldn't grab it, but ends up not working out for him as the ADS grabs it right at the end of the frag grenade's lifespan. Half of the round has now been expended by DarkZero. Not too much to gain, all except for the map control upstairs inside of offices. They have Kairos open the triple wall, and now they have most of the top control. Hyper, though, over on the east balcony, kills a Lems. I'm going to assume that was on a rotate, possibly out of radio window. Oh, we'll get to that later. Frag grenade, last one for Buck, going into break room. Shaiko's going to find a free kill in the skies, but it gets immediately traded by Mint, as Mint almost grabs 2, but Renshiro backs off of 90.
The fight continues. We go right past the 1 minute mark. Small man advantage to DarkZero, but still a lot more work to do before they get themselves closer to the site. CCTV control has gone over to DarkZero, however, and Mint, in the meantime, going for a planet, is going to get interrupted by the Yokai drone, however, and that'll swing him out of the site. They still have smoke gas grenades as well. The first one of those did miss, but should be 2 more remaining. And in the meantime, Renshiro, nicely done. A slight lineup through the desk is going to knock out Mint. Hot and Cold will be able to trade out onto RXWD, but now time continuing to get lower. Even worse, the manpower not really there anymore. However, I say that Eclipse completes a rotate through Workshop and manages to find himself an angle against Renshiro. Once more, it's Rafal on the Echo, left alone in the 1v3. Interruption coming in, still 15 seconds left though, so they're going to look for a capability to try and knock out that Yokai drone and get this plant onto the ground. There we go, it's been dealt with. Now Rafal must move and try to pull off the retake in a 1v3. It's going to be oh so difficult. He's late to the party on getting the plant. Drivers drop right in, jump right on the first fake, I believe, to get them off it. Actually, do they realize he's there? Yes, they do. They'll spam in. However, are they going to be able to get him in time? Yes! Hyper finally locks down that final kill and gives DarkZero their 3rd consecutive round.
BDS having a little bit of trouble trading, and it doesn't seem like they really have the information in order to handle how quickly DarkZero is changing pace. We saw early on inside of that round where they would often try and drone out the area of offices. It was a lot of utility usage, get your walls open, get things set up around the map. Okay, well, once things started coming down for kills from BDS and the trades from DarkZero that ended up getting them on top of the man count, they were eventually able to start rotating players around the map. We saw Eclipse off doing his own thing inside of Vents, or excuse me, inside of Workshop, where he rotated through there, got the free kill onto Renshiro at the bottom of Metal. DarkZero is just changing pace so quickly, and BDS are not able to keep up, mainly due to the fact that BDS are usually the pace setters. Really, the only trouble that we saw them have against Rec was when Rec would start to speed things up themselves or really slow things down. BDS likes it when it's their pace, and when it's not their pace, they really don't know how to act.
Yeah, BDS struggling in that regard pretty heavily right now, especially when it comes to player positioning, in my opinion. We're looking at a lot of different play styles being brought up by BDS. Just in the first 2 rounds, we can even kind of discount the 3rd round for the time being, but just look at the difference in play between round 1 and 2. Round 1, incredibly spread out, trying to capitalize on that roam game. See players like Shaiko getting shut down in the early round, though, because they are a little bit isolated, and there's not really good room for trades, as you had mentioned a second ago, either, so trying to get the manpower back under their favor has never been an easy thing. Then second round, when they play upstairs, they play incredibly constricted behind the safe beepers wall that goes through the window into mini and then out through the soft wall over towards armory wall, but nobody plays at half wall. Nobody tries to directly contest the wraparound, immediately exiting lockers. And as a result of that, DarkZero just set themselves up for a post plant before they even plant and follow through with beautiful play. And BDS can't do anything to shut it down because they're locked in the site.
It was truly incredible. That round overall, I think, highlights how well DarkZero is playing this. The other two have been kind of back and forth. Getting a plant down when all 10 operators are still up in the game, that's truly incredible.
Difficult.
Very, very difficult to pull off, but DarkZero is willing to go up against the challenge. BDS, though, have a bigger challenge ahead of them. They're currently down 3 rounds on their defensive side. They went to all 3 sites that they want to play, but could always have that customs hold in their back pocket. That might be in the cards for them in the future, but for right now, they're back upstairs. DarkZero bringing the usual suspects for this lineup.
Nice find on the Valkyrie can there from our observer. Thank you, Medics, for that. We are going to see that one get chucked outside.
Hashtag thank you, Medics.
Skies is kind of far away right now, so this will probably go unnoticed. Not actively being used at this point for any type of run out, but Hyper does seem to realize something's up. You can't really spot the camera that you just saw from his POV sitting directly on the van that we've looked at twice now. Renshiro's going to check it, does get the spot onto the Zofia sitting outside, so Hyper's going to have to be very careful here as Skies is nowhere nearby to scan that camera out and isolate him.
Well, this will be the second time that BDS has brought Goyo, and this will be the first time that BDS has opening kill. Eclipse dies early on, no more frag grenades, no more skeleton key. They do have some soft destruction in the likes of Hyper, though.
Once again, we've got Skies on IQ, working to find these cameras, any other utility that may get in their way. We had a Legion in the first round, for example. Try and isolate some of that out. Make the team's job to push just a little bit easier here. Speaking of things getting easier, we do have that armory wall getting opened up, the start of it anyway, as the top level has been opened by our Hibana, being played by Hot and Cold. A minute and 30 seconds remain here, and so far, as you mentioned, this is the best start BDS has had so far. With that man advantage, they're not really too keen on continuing to try and posture for aggression here. No peeks at the half or anything. It would be a bit bold to see that at this point in the round. So that means the rest of West Wall should be opened without too much congestion. And because they have this man advantage, the safer setup that we also saw back in round 2 is going to make a lot more sense this time.
You can see there's so many prepped holes in the flooring downstairs for BDS, but they currently have no one downstairs in order to play those. So somebody's going to have to work their way down to workshop if they want to try and prevent this plant. Obviously, Alems has been doing a pretty bang-up job of stopping them so far. Didn't get in the first round, though, but definitely got in that last 1v3 that he had. But did not end up working well for him. A little bit of trade of shots back and forth between Renshiro and Hyper on a very long angle. I don't know if Renshiro wants to dance with that too much, but MPX bullets will still fly through the mini doorway. Toxic Babe's now being popped off. Skies has adjusted himself over to AC, and he'll get a kill for his pleasure. Renshiro dies, and now we're on equal man count. Shaiko going to stand up for Mini, as it's going to be an entire DarkZero take. RXWD tries to adjust a half wall, but it's DarkZero all over the site. Alem's down into a 1 versus 4 once again, but Skies will find him inside of Archives. He shifts to Fountain, but gets shut down by Mint. DarkZero seems to be everywhere when it comes to border.
Yeah, Alem's trying to do his best with the situation he was dealt right there, but just no way to rotate into a good position to shut anything down.
Look at how fast that intel comes out, though. That's the thing I want to highlight. You see how Skies dies, but they're already adjusting to have Thatcher and the likes of Mint rotate down 90 so that they can pinch the whole site instead of having everyone sit on one side of the area and just take one-on-one gunfights with that Echo. Instead, pinch them out. You're up 4 players. You don't need to, pitter-patter around with one person and allow them to have that back hatch escape instead. DarkZero is doing a very good job of not only getting the diffuser down, but making BDS respect what they're going to do. They're not going to let you clutch. They don't want you to clutch. It's not going to happen.
We did have the cab pick baited there for a second, but it is going to be swiftly 6-pick back out over to a Cade instead. Slim's going to look to try and hide that. First team as they move into the next round. Round number 5, now their second attempt to maintain Vents control for themselves, but yet to be successful on any of these sites, including the upstairs sites. It's usually regarded as a bit of a safer pick for teams, but it seems like it's not the case for BDS right now. DarkZero is crushing this attacking side to start up a series on border.
Well, inside of that BDS versus Reciprocity game that you and I casted, Blue, we noticed a lot that Reciprocity just didn't have the setups in order to get diffusers down, or it seemed like they had the proper operators, just not in the proper places, and a lot of times that would mess them up. Now, though, DarkZero are not skipping a beat, but they look fantastic. Honestly, I have not seen DarkZero look this good in a really, really long time. And that's talking about the roster. That's not even talking about them with the organization. This is definitely the best DarkZero I have ever seen, ever.
Really just going through the motions on these rounds right now.
And you can tell that there's no frustration when somebody dies. Yeah. Hyper gets picked early, and they're like, we still got a job to do, boys. Like, let's get this wall open. Let's get this plant down. We can do this with 4. Honestly, they're looking unstoppable right now. They're looking like world beaters. I don't want to call it too early like we did the last time. But right now, they're looking very good.
Yeah, closest thing we've seen to a struggle, like you said, is that early loss they took on the last round, but even then, we're able to kind of slow things down and adjust, and then when the execute came in, I mean, it was still nearly flawless.
Bread and butter.
I think you only had, that was it. There wasn't any trades for BDS in the actual gunfight, despite being a man up, so.
BDS is so used to winning their gunfights, though. That's the thing. I think that DarkZero is going to force BDS to respect these gunfights a lot more, because, I mean, you have arguably their entire roster that can gun you. If you want to just talk about the top 3, you're talking about Skies, Eclipse, and Hyper. But even those 3 are just incredible in their own right. As we talked about earlier, BDS really just, at this tournament, has Shaiko and Elims that have been topping the charts.
Well, in the meanwhile, Hyper did burn out
what a
with his
shot.
Shaiko, nicely found though, is able to eliminate Eclipse from just outside.
Those 3 bullets.
Man, nicely played from him. Quickly deals with Eclipse, say bye-bye to the Buck for now, but again, DarkZero's been in this situation before. They've shown the capability to come back from it. Shaiko, though, is definitely going to get a bit of confidence brewing from that. He's got himself lined up for another fight here in just a moment. There's the swing in. A little bit of damage done to the Hot and Cold. It is returned slightly on a Shaiko, but neither team is going to score a kill right now. Both will fall back, and with that means DarkZero is going to take a bit more control here towards the offices and fountain area.
DarkZero handling everything in 2s so they can go for those trades. Do have Skies on the south balcony playing things a little bit slow, as well as Mint downstairs inside of Square. BDS doing a great job of delaying a lot of time. Hyper actually gets one, but we're actually gonna have somebody fall into sight. It's Hyper himself. No, excuse me, it's Hot and Cold, who's currently down behind the workshop bench, as well as Zofia floating in the air through the rotate. I'm going to assume that is on our cam only. Renshiro gets a Deagle kill onto Mint, and this is the best round that BDS has had so far. Skies is the only man left on DarkZero with any life left to live. Hot and Cold still bleeding out behind the workshop table with 30 seconds left on the clock.
Skies keeps getting these tiny lineups, and I'm sure you guys have noticed by this point, but he just hasn't been able to get a confident enough one to try and line up a headshot, mainly because at this point, he doesn't want to give away his position. You can see BDS are taking more standard spots. They don't necessarily know where Skies is at, so Skies trying to leverage this, but ultimately with just about 10 seconds left, I'm pretty sure he's just going to sit on this angle, let the time waste away. He knows he's not clutching out the 1v4. If he can get that kill, it'll be great, but if not, the round's already lost, and BDS are going to go up on the board with their very first round.
Operators, you are out of time.
Round 5 for BDS working out. Now, honestly, that was kind of a blunder from DarkZero. Just dropped the hatch with Hyper, and I'm going to assume that Hyper was the one that had the diffuser in that instance, because he had died, and you can see the diffuser was sitting over on the 2x4s that sit in the corner of Workshop, and you had Hot and Cold down in the middle of the floor. So it looked like they were trying to set up for Skies to hold the rotate for vents on that channel or that path through the entire site, and then have Hyper and or Hot and Cold run Overwatch while Hyper was putting down that diffuser on top of those 2x4s. So decent call, but BDS was ready for it as they immediately retaliated. Rotating around here to Armory, though, I feel like this is where BDS really needs to shake things up. The last time that they were here, they had Shaiko play in Beepers. Now, it's not a bad position to play at all. We saw it get ran by Reciprocity the last time they were here, and Shaiko actually had a nasty lineup to kill Vertical in that exact same spot.
BDS do seem like they were doing better work with their fight selection timing in the last round, being a little bit less predictable with their movements as well. I think worked to throw DarkZero off and make it not such an easy task to win out those gunfights due to the increased movement we had there from a few of the BDS players. You kind of see like Sky specifically hunting for the kill towards the end of the round. We had a couple more instances of that as well, where DarkZero eventually slipped up in the gunfights, and finally we saw them go to BDS, which is really the first time this game we've seen that happen.
Oh, well, Shaiko feeling himself, and he should be. He's had the last 2 opening kills inside of this match. Still have a long road ahead of them, though. The best they can do on their defensive side is win this round and make it a 4-2 split. Otherwise, DarkZero is going to be ahead by 4 rounds. Looks like it's just a couple baited punch holes inside of detention, but Shaiko is playing close inside of the miniature office that sits inside of Customs. DarkZero working on their default cams. Don't want to do things similar to Rogue the last time where we weren't catching too many of those. So make sure to get those gone early. Sky's has been doing a bang-up job of working this IQ as well. Always making sure to check outside, looking for all these cameras from Renshiro. There has been quite a bit of Valkyrie play. She's actually been played 5 out of the 6 rounds on their defensive half.
Unfortunately, not a whole lot that they've been able to leverage from it, but it has wasted a good amount of time for Sky specifically to have to go and find the outside one and then hunt down the other 2 as well, which have been placed kind of apex positions here where BDS would look to try and take fights themselves and cut players off on entry, as you can see by their current positions. Thank you for catching that for us there, Mr. Medic. This is Renshiro. It's on that operator. Rest of DZ with the first minute of the round gone away. Now we're going to start moving in to take up positions. Sky's going for the lineup onto the sandwich spot. Actually, never mind. He's going to cancel that. Potentially just to set up a Claymore, though, and then we'll see him rotate over towards the window up on top of the buses.
This is going to be, roughly speaking, the exact same execute from DarkZero, but what a trade from Mint! Oh my, you regularly don't expect that from him, but that was a hell of a shot. He keeps Hyper alive as well, that's huge. You kill one of their top frags and then keep yours alive. Granted, he will have 20 HP, but he's still going to have impacts. He's still going to have concussions. DarkZero still has Skies killing RXWD, and they're ahead 5-3 inside of this round.
It's going to be a very frustrating death for Shaiko just because he had no way to foresee that coming his way. The paneling, the way that it had been blocked out, seemed to work out so, unfortunately, against his favor, that it gave the kill over to DarkZero at the end of the day. And a lot for that trade, and more importantly, the saved teammate to still be left alive for DZ. In the meantime, another swing from Eclipse. He's going to find a very nice kill against Renshiro. Rafal will fall next, and Alems is shortly after that. It's a flawless round from DarkZero as they're running the gauntlet now with a 5-1 lead coming off the attacking half on Border.
I know Milos is going to say this eventually today, so let me just get this out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the part. We are literally watching some of the most beautiful Siege you can possibly watch. Look at everything that they're making sure that they check into. They rotate Eclipse down low with the buck. They make sure that they're checking down low when they go for this plant. He skeleton keys open the whole thing, which makes Valkyrie respect the angle instead of trying to throw the nitro cell across because she knows she's going to get swung on. But right as she starts to move towards the angle, he swings, kills her. Flawless round for DarkZero. We even have it all the way down to Skies being on AC to make sure that they can't rotate out of armory lockers. It's so impressive what DarkZero is pulling off against a squad like BDS right now.
Mint specifically having himself a great game right now just from the kills department and overall on the scoreboard there as he is leading the team. I believe it was 7-3 the last time we checked it. He's actually statistically speaking the lowest rated player at this tournament right now. So he's having himself a massive game in the way that DarkZero is crushing BDS on this first map.
You said it yourself before this. I asked you how you were going to feel about the game. You said, honestly, BDS has a pretty similar style to Empire. Granted, they do have some different fraggers and different play styles, but I really feel like DarkZero is going to thrive against them, and I could possibly see this being a 2-0. I'm gonna put you on the TL for a second.
We're very much on that timeline right now, so you can throw that out there.
I'm gonna throw it out there.
I feel very safe with that prediction right now.
You might be the messiah of Siege. I don't know.
Well, let's see. Of course, as we have yet to see DarkZero's defensive half play yet. Generally speaking, you'll sometimes see teams have very, very different levels of success on the attack and defensive side. Although I would not imagine it to vary too much in DarkZero's case, given the amount of preparation they put into these matches. Let's see from BDS, though. Shaiko may be able to awaken himself a little bit better on the attacking side to catch his opponents off, make him play a little bit more unpredictably. Currently still focusing on the drone work right now. They're actually going to use one of their EMP grenades to allow Alem's drone to fully get to the inside of Breaker. The problem is they do have Hyper on the Vigil, so not going to be the easiest thing in the world to spot him out either.
DarkZero and conversations with them before this matchup, and actually before this tournament, we're talking about how powerful their offensive half was, but their defensive half they were still a little bit questionable on. They just felt like their offenses were going the best they had ever been before. We could definitely tell from that, the last round right there. We'll have to see if they can possibly get 2 rounds, though, to close out Border very early on here. Again, BDS only has 1 round, and we're through 6 of them right now. Alem's not having the best day either. He's currently 2-0-5. This is somebody that throughout this entire tournament thus far has been second to none on his team. Shaiko has had a couple of games where he has popped off, but in comparison to what DarkZero is doing right now, not the best, but BDS will start bringing things back on the offensive side. Shaiko finds his first kill inside of Fountain. I believe he follows up with a second as well.
It's a good reaction time coming out from BDS here. Shaiko keeping his team alive and more importantly at full manpower. Oh no! DZ trying to get a little bit aggressive with their play style here, but as you can see, in at least 2 or 3 different instances, it has just outright failed. BDS is holding these angles, waiting for the plays to come in, and so far they've caught pretty much every single one so far.
An amazing take by BDS. They found the soft spot inside of this defensive setup. Got Fountain control immediately with Shaiko, where he was able to do what Shaiko does best, kills people. Mint gets the first kill for DarkZero, though. RXWD out for the round, but still a long road ahead of them. 40 seconds left. BDS still needs to get a plant down, though. That's going to be the main issue. So NitroCell continues to beep on Fountain. Sees across as Mint tries to make his way upstairs. Now Shaiko's got that double kill, but BDS finally has their second round.
So DarkZero going to have to go back to the drawing board a little bit for their strategy on that site. Like I said, way too aggressive in my opinion, the way that they were trying to take out players. You had guys like Eclipse, and I think at least one of them trying to jump out and catch BDS, but every single time they tried it, BDS shut it down without really even much of a response from DZ themselves.
The issue for DarkZero is that they were aggressive in the wrong areas. The take was for Fountain from BDS, didn't have too much vision, hyper rotates upstairs, throws an impact, gets immediately obliterated. They just didn't really know where BDS was starting out at. I think that was the only lack in intel that they had was, okay, where is this initially going to start? Because there wasn't too much pressure inside of CCTV yet. They had already gotten that, but they went through the break room door. We saw Skies downstairs waiting for them to hop inside of the monitor's window, but they didn't have that. So for DarkZero, I think they just need to try and identify a little bit earlier on what's going on with BDS, and you can see with the Mute Mozzie combo, they're already trying to slow down BDS's info gain throughout this next round.
Different justification on the site strategy overall as well from the folks here at DarkZero, as they are going to stick with their very first site selection downstairs in Vent and Workshop and try this a second time compared to BDS, who chose to work their way around the sites at the start. Nice little lineup here through the floorboards as well is going to give players down in the site capability to stop the push from working its way into office.
Beauty of that as well is you can actually play that from concrete, which is that little area right next to admin window. Thank you so much, medics. That area is the only hard flooring inside of that entire site upstairs, so very important. You can't get nitro-celled or anything of the sort. Kind of a dangerous area though, because they can cut you off from the door. So DarkZero are going to have to be worried about that if they are playing those holes. Make sure you guys are paying attention to Skies as well, though. He is running that Legion this round, and the longer he stays alive, the more of those pesky goo mines he can set on the ground.
Gonna have to try and deny presence on the hatch, however. We do have the Nitro-Cell lineup. It's gonna go over. Oh, that's a home run for Hot and Cold.
That's a 4, Kobe.
Nicely done as it takes out Shaiko, an important player for BDS as well, who picked up multiple kills on that previous round and kept his team alive against the more aggressive moves from DZ. So, big loss for BDS. Now they've got to take it slowly.
I could say Hot and Cold has an explosive personality. All right, I'm done, I promise.
Certainly hot in this round.
Yeah. Oh my. DarkZero looking good, though, inside of round 8 after their first failed attempt to defend the Vent site. Went horribly wrong. BDS, though, with some frag grenades from Vents. That's going to be the buck of RXWD. Doesn't do any damage to Hot and Cold, but gets rid of his bandit batteries. Oh no, also some more trouble coming. He pre-fires, but Alems was ready for it. They knew that he rotated to Fountain. Alems impacting the back of Fountain to get some more vision on that area. So we're on equal footing now, about halfway through the round.
Teams are being a bit cautious to jump into archives because of that destruction in the floor that our observer had highlighted at the beginning of the round. Currently kind of waiting it out, and actually, for the most part, abandoning that position entirely to drone it out now. You still have Mint lurking in the area. His Nitro Cell is gone, so not going to be able to be deployed. We do have Eclipses still available as well, if he gets a chance to use it, but he's obviously playing in a much different position, so that'll come in a different situation here. As for BDS, rotating away from trying to push into the archives, they've instead taken their pathing over towards the bathroom entryway where they're going to push him from here, but without appropriate upstairs pressure. They do have it right now as Rafal is covering that cross. DZ could just rotate in and shoot from the top-down position, since no one else from BDS is holding that archives door currently.
Bullets fly in through the customs door at Skies, still alive, has a goo mine in hand, finds the drone after they adjust it. BDS trying to find some space to put this diffuser down, but they're going the opposite way of what DarkZero did the last time. Actually, this is the only failed offense that DarkZero had, is when Skies and the rest of the squad were not able to hold down Vents. Oh no, Alems with a double kill now, DarkZero. Down and man, Skies is going to rotate to try and get the refrag, but Mint will actually be there instead. Down to the 2 versus 2 with 10 seconds remaining. No diffuser in anybody's hands. It's down inside of Workshop as Renshiro tries to hop over, but no, it's Mint on a triple. DarkZero counters all of it. BDS gets shut down, and DarkZero on map point.
Once again, talking about Mint there, who, like I said, has had a bit of a lackluster tournament so far, but in this game, it is not the case. Coming out huge in that round with a triple kill. And as for BDS, trying to do the mid-round adjustment to shift downstairs, there just does not work. They don't have the appropriate self-destruction to get them into the site in time, and by the end of the round, not the manpower either. A win to DZ now puts them on map point for the very first map of the series here, and they're going to go to Bathroom Tellers to try and close it out.
Mint is currently 11-4. This is probably his best showing throughout the entire tournament.
Has to be.
There's no way it can't. I mean, there's no way it can't be. It's truly impressive what he's pulling off right now. His rating so far through the entire tournament is a .87. He was 43-51 on KD, and he was actually 0-8 on opening kill / opening death. So that's a very big stat.
To be fair, that stat may have not changed that much since most of his impact is coming in mid to late round, but when it is coming in, it's coming in a big way right now.
I feel like this map especially is just, he's popping off, because even if you check his cost, he's only at 56%.
Yeah.
So, and obviously stats aren't everything, but they are still something. You have to remember that. So, between these two, though, BDS are taking quite a bit of time on their offensives. They like to have that information game. We saw the amount of times they were back and forth on drones, how their drones were used. They had a really good drone inside of Customs, some good intel upstairs inside of Archives to almost kill Houghton, but he eventually got into Fountain before getting killed by Alems. So you can tell the info game is there for them. They're just taking a very long time to actually get set up for the executes onto site, and eventually, like what we saw in that last round, DarkZero just goes headhunting, and they trust their players to trade out properly, and it's really working for them right now.
That DarkZero at that point. Hello, Hyper. A run out, but it's read like a book from BDS and Alems specifically. 2 players lined up to stop that, no problem at all. And down Hyper is going to go.
What a mad lad. Topped out the window.
You got a 4-round lead. They're at 6-2. I think they can afford to try stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if it works.
All right, hold on now, boys. I said you could do it once. I didn't say you could do it twice.
Tyler's like, Paul, look, you did it once, didn't work out. But if I do it, they'll never think it's going to happen. But BDS making sure to cross their T's and dot their I's.
Active bandit trick going on over at the office walls to try and prevent access, and so far that's going off without a hitch. Flashbangs going in, though. Shaiko going to attempt to wrap around and take out Mint. There is going to be some stuff in the way, though, but Mint will be taken out by RXWD regardless. He's gone now. Sky's also isolated out, and BDS are now just closing the lid on this round as it's all down to hot and cold in a 1v5 situation. BDS take themselves on a flawless round as they try to battle back into this game with now 3 more rounds needed to bring this back into OT.
Okay, well, successful armory defense, or excuse me, successful vents defense, apologies, leads into a Teller's defense. Haven't won armory lockers just yet, but they'll lock that in, so it seemed like they wanted to try and throw BDS for a loop, especially with that double peek out of the monitor's window. Just jump out, run to the 90 up there, and try and get a kill on the balcony. But that failed both times when Hyper and Eclipse both tried that. BDS capitalizing on the man advantage and just checking down the boxes, making sure they have radio window control, upside down rappel, going for offices all from a couple of different angles, and get all of the kills onto DarkZero. So perfect round for BDS, just off of the back of some minor inconveniences that DarkZero was trying to provide.
Back upstairs towards the armory site here now for DarkZero, and to go for their second attempt to close out border. As far as BDS is concerned, this is where things might get a little bit dodgy for themselves. They have struggled to attack this on a past round. With DarkZero now coming back to it, I'm sure confidence is still brewing for them to try and get a swift 7-3 victory with this round going into their favor, potentially. They're going to have to accomplish that deed first, though. And then being able to move on to map number 2, which if memory serves me correctly, is going to be taking us over to Consulate.
It is going to be Consulate, my friend. We go Consulate, then we go right into Coastline. So overall, I feel like it is a pretty equal map pool between these two.
I think so as well.
But DarkZero is making it seem like it's not.
Yeah. Especially on this map specifically. I feel like our second map potentially is going to have much better proclivity to be closer.
I believe so as well. BDS did not look bad on border at all yesterday, though. Or, excuse me, 2 days ago.
Either way, we'll find out about that soon. And this map's not over just yet either. BDS finally finding themselves some footing here when it comes to the attacking side. Now just needing to follow that through. The hard part about this is the fact that they can't make any mistakes. They slip up once, the map is over. And that's why it's so hard for a team to come back. Even from what only seems like just a couple of rounds. Siege is a game played very, very long term. 1 round is a very long time, so there's a lot of mistakes that can be made over the course of one.
Kind of minute into the round now, though, as BDS is attempting to attack Armory Lockers for the very first time. Shaiko is already inside of vents.
Shaiko actually lucky to be alive right now. They did have someone holding that, but I think he caught it just when Skies was preoccupied with something else. So Shaiko is going to be able to slip right by into the window. Going to be able to open up the area underneath the wall as well. That's going to destroy the Goyo shield sitting in the way and open up the potential for the team to open up the wall as well with their hard breach on the Havana. Once again being played by Rafa.
Used very well. Wall is now open. That's going to be all of their hard destruction, though, so they cannot change things up and try and go for an archives take here if they wanted to try and gain control of offices. So this is going to be everything in a handbasket right now for BDS. They have to get this plant down, though. Minute and 18 seconds. Everyone's still alive on the defense. Still plenty of toxic babes, especially for Skies. Eclipse has worked his way downstairs. Shaiko's already left the area, though. He's currently on rappel on the western balcony, holding angles in towards mid.
RXWD waiting for his angle to be fished out into the open, but again, nothing going to happen at this point. Ooh, a bit of a sketchy lineup right now from DC. It's only momentarily, though, that Skies tries to take the position on that one. Besides that, we still have players working for something downstairs as well, with DarkZero looking to maintain control. Eclipse specifically having himself a potential angle to play off of. And still, Yokai's to be deployed here. So they're going to try and get that into a good position to stop the plant. If it does come down to timing, which seems more and more likely, due to how long BDS is taking to either get the intel or the courage to finally make this push onto the inside. Hyper still holding position over towards offices as well, which could pose problems to all these players trying to push their way in from break room right now. But finally, RXWD opens up the avenue by finding Skies another peak. Rafal gonna go for the plant. There's the first Yokai drone pop to try and interrupt Rafal. It does succeed in doing so, and we're also going to see a Nitro Cell to follow it up to take him out. Alems with the trade onto Hot and Cold. Mint's gonna be able to take out RXWD a moment later. Shaiko, however, getting close to getting this plant onto the ground. Is finally going to be able to do it with just a few seconds left. Another Nitro Cell kill is found by Mint, but at the same time, Renshiro is there over at the back lanes inside of Staff to take out Eclipse. It's down to the 2v2. 30 seconds here for BDS to try and hold on to this position, and Renshiro along with Alems will get it done. BDS get those last few kills and win out round number 10.
DarkZero looked like they were crawling back, but BDS shuts the door on them. Great post-plant positioning from them, especially having the gentleman inside of break room. Ended up winning them the round because they were not able to rotate up metal stairs after both of those Nitro Cell kills. So again, BDS doing a very good job on this offense and running it back against DarkZero right now. They're actually on equal split so far. DarkZero's only gained one offensive round since this rotation. So I think this is a great timeout call from BC. Let's see what he has to say about this, though. They're going back to Vents Room Workshop, which is a site that they won previously against BDS. Last time they brought Bandit, Legion, Valkyrie, Mute, and Mozzie. So we're going to see the Mute-Mozzie combo again. This looks to be the same setup, but if you guys remember, when we first rotated to DarkZero on the defensive side, they played this exact same site, except with an Echo instead of a Bandit, and they ended up losing. So this is going to be very close to the chest, but DarkZero seems like they want to get one past the goalie with this.
A little bit more discussion coming out here for DarkZero as they use this time for the pause and to figure out how exactly they're going to approach the win here. But the time has already expired. They're going back into it, and it should be that same lineup that we saw previously when they played into this site, if memory serves me correctly. And it's looking like it. Yeah, we get the same exact lineup from the one round that they had on the site before.
We're going to 6-pick over to an IQ, though. So that could definitely help out with the Mozzie Pest issue. Throughout the entire weekend, our good British commentator friends were saying Mozzie on the Aussie. Now we have the Greek on the Aussie. Doesn't sound as good. It doesn't sound as good.
No, it doesn't ring as much of a bell.
No. Yeah, things never ring a bell unless they rhyme, right?
Not entirely.
Like, I mean, like, obviously ringing a bell is like, oh yeah, I remember
it's gonna sound catchy.
But it's just, I mean, but still, like, if things rhyme, they are catchy.
Yeah. You know, like,
how it works.
Like Positive Pete. We talked about him the other day.
Positive Pizza.
That rings a good bell.
That rings a pretty good bell.
It doesn't rhyme.
What rings a bad bell, though?
I don't know.
Don't say negative Nancy, because that's just true.
We're not discussing that right now. I'll come back to you later on that one.
I gotta think on that one. But between these two, DarkZero going for a little bit of a different lineup here. Oh no! Poor hot timing. It's ripped. As a pre-fire from BDS rips through the break room door, and RXWD pretty happy about that one.
He's going to check his crouch key as he hops around those AC units sitting in the back of the south balcony. Shaiko, in the meanwhile, will open up the east stairs for the team to push into. Default already long gone, so don't need to worry about that. And they've got a lot of preset drone positions to move through the lobby as well. At least 2 of them set up right now to watch for Teller's or main hall push downstairs. Skies, in the meantime, is over here towards Customs. He's going to take down some of this debris on top of the desk so that he's going to be able to take up top spot and maybe have himself an angle to catch this lobby play if BDS do commit further into it.
This could help DarkZero a little bit. Hot and cold the last time that they won this site was actually the first person to get a kill, but now he's on cam duty, and that's that section that he could help with. They obviously do have the Vault cams. Hyper can always set up cams with those Mozzie pests as well, so again, he could still help his team. BDS, though, looking really, really good right now. Shaiko almost gets ripped through the soft fountain wall from Hyper, who drops right down into server.
Meanwhile here, Eclipse and quite a few of the other players taking up angles over towards Armory to try and restrict this. You got that mute Mozzie combo that's getting in the way again, as you can just see right there from the drone work that's attempting to be done on the inside of lockers, but isn't proving to be the easiest thing in the world right now. Shaiko also trying to go hunting through the floor for anybody that might overexpose themselves down in the workshop, but again, coming up empty. And that could be the problem for BDS. Thankfully, though, again, time more so on their side than against it at this point, with a little over a minute remaining. They've made quite a bit of progress. They have a general idea about where the setup is, and better yet, they've got themselves another down against Mint right now. Looks like he's going to be able to safely crawl back. Unsure if someone will res him, considering the positions of the players currently, but nah, Mint will get finished off by Renshiro. He'll follow that up with another one onto Hyper. Meanwhile, upstairs, Shaiko completes the kill onto Eclipse, and now Skies must sit a little bit awkwardly alone. The double man drop, he downs one, completes the kill a second later. Out of ammo on that SMG, though, trying to work it with the pistol, but not going to happen. Alems trades him out, and BDS find themselves another one. Only one away now from taking this to OT.
Offensive side Border. That's actually
working well for both teams, isn't it?
That's kind of how it goes, actually. I mean, Border is a map that's really made it out of its mind on offense. Everyone knows how to handle truly everything. It's not one of those maps where you're going to throw a lot of curveballs at someone. The map's just been played so many times throughout its history. I mean, it was one of our first DLC maps after Yacht. So what really are you going to do to try and shake things up on that defensive side? It's proved to be very difficult for both of these teams, but BDS definitely looking really good on this offensive half. Alem's finally finding his footing. Back at the top of the leaderboard there, at least kills-wise, but Shaiko topping the charts with that MVP.
Next round we go. It's the Teller's defense again. That's going to become the final battleground, at least for regulation time now for DZ. As far as BDS is concerned, confidence is certainly going to be brewing for them. You'll note, though, they haven't necessarily over-pushed themselves with that confidence. They haven't taken unnecessary risks. They've still been playing a very calculated game, which is a large part of the reasons to why they've been so successful against DZ on this attacking side. Something that we didn't see as much of from the defensive half, unfortunately. But it seems as though DarkZero is struggling in quite a few of the same ways with trying to figure out what the right mix of aggression and hard defense is to fully cross out BDS from this map.
Well, if Border is anything to come when it comes to Consulate, this could be scoring out to be a very, very good match. Consulate plays a lot like Border and the like of Executes, where you have to hold quite a few angles where you're trying to get that plant down. It's very, very important. There's not very many areas where you're only going to have to hold 2 rounds. You have to hold upstairs, that kind of stuff. We see that a lot on Consulate. So only difference is that Consulate is still a map where you can change up quite a few things on defense just to try and throw some different faces at the offense. Whereas Border, again, it's very, very, very small mixed bag. Diffuser currently on Rafal as BDS is poised to try and take office.
Rafal going to start the drone work over here towards the east stairs. The Letton's already with access over towards break room. But not too keen on taking that control away from DZ this early on in the round. There's another one from Mint this time, who chucks the C4 over the top. Same spot as well, I believe, over towards those east stairs, and knocks out Alems.
You think you would learn.
Skies, there's the run out this time.
As well. Yeah, that's a huge pick as well. That's Rafal, that's the Habana. I don't believe that they know right now that Shaiko's actually crouch walking inside, but he's got to be very wary of his angles. He's worked his way into Fountain. How's he even done this? How have they not hurt him just yet?
There's the check for Mint.
Oh, this is so bad for them. This could mean everything. He's gonna run inside, but no, he gets killed by Skies. The man inside of offices has to be counting his lucky stars. I think that's Mint that's currently behind the desk, but it's Skies onto a triple kill right now. He could finish it out with a quad as RXWD fights his way inside. Very low HP, trying to kill the man through the wall, but it isn't done yet. 1 minute and 7 seconds remain. RXWD still alive, but even a goo mine could kill him. He will confirm. Oh, no, he's not going to. He works his way over to the workshop hatch, looks down.
Onto his pistol.
It's killed, and that's going to be a flawless round to stop BDS from pushing this to overtime.
DarkZero certainly takes them a couple of rounds to reassert their footing after getting to round number 6, but eventually they get the job done on round 12 at the very end of regulation. DZ claim round number 1, 7-5, and are going to now have a 1-0 map advantage in the series. Soon to be 2-0. Well, we'll find that out very, very soon. Or when we have the bounce back from BDS to take us to a map number 3. That is the question now. BDS certainly putting up a great fight from the attacking half, but the defensive side taking them far, far too long to get their footing onto the ground.
Overall, I think DarkZero just won this from the offensive side. Once they were able to make it to match point, as you had stated, you can't make any errors. Very smart play from them. BDS, though, starting to warm up. Their defensive half was really not good at all. Continuously hurts them, but overall, I would have to say it was actually turned out to be a very, very good map between these two. I really do feel like Consulate's going to be all on who grabs offense first, though.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for us for the time being. We'll be back for map number 2, but to break down the first one, we're going to send it back over to your wonderful analyst desk to talk a little bit about this first map.
Thank you very much, Blue and Stokes. Yes, indeed, that was a pretty good start to our day here in playoffs. Border map number 1. We expected it to go BDS's way. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for them, at least when you're looking at them selecting the map in the way that they usually play it. It was a complete role reversal, however. BDS starting off on the defense. This is where usually they're so comfortable. DarkZero shut them down every single time. We ended at a half with a 4-2. DarkZero looked very comfortable. BDS fought back. First of all, what happened in that first half that allowed DarkZero to just be so comfortable with BDS on defense?
I think what is the strength of DZ is that they're able to be very, very coordinated. And that's a very hard thing, to get 5 people together who can go, wait, are we all ready? Are you holding the angle? Can I run in? Can I plant? No, wait, I'm not ready. And that's what you're seeing. And you actually visibly see them waiting for them to count down and go. And I think the problem with BDS is that they weren't ready for the post-plant execution and being able to retake either.
It also looked like DC never needed to look at where their teammates were. They were always aware. I mean, sure, that comes with good communication, but we saw BDS, like, they were trying to figure out where can I pull a guy from to come help me here, because I need help with this. And it becomes really, really difficult when you need to kind of observe your own game to figure out where you can pull people from, right?
Exactly, and on DarkZero's attack, you see them always having a drone in the right space. We always talked about Workshop being such a powerful position. Valkyries, we talked about Nitro Cells in there. Well, they had a drone in there. The moment you're spotted, you can't do much, and there's always a buck. We compared them with Empire before with Joystick Karjika. That's exactly what Karjika does for Empires, plays the buck, goes under. Same thing that was happening here with DarkZero. They had control. BDS on the attack looked a lot better, and they were starting to predict where their opponents would be coming out from. Were DarkZero really failing on their defense early on? It took them a bit to warm up?
They did have quite a few rounds where they lost 2 people early on, or they were getting entry fragged on positions where they didn't need to. But being up to 6, you can kind of afford to play around a little bit and make them comfortable and then hit them hard in like the last round, right?
Yeah.
It looked like Shaiko is really channeling his inner Sam Fisher in this one, because he'd just sneak in between everybody, and there's just no way that it's supposed to happen, yet he does it. And I just wonder, is it just pure game sense by looking at it, or how does he do it?
I did worry, because we did see Shaiko play yesterday, and he played quite tight with his team. He played a lot tighter than we saw him play today. And I did wonder if there was a little bit of nerves, a little bit of anxiety there for him going, we need to bring these rounds back, boy. Maybe I need to make a play. And he made those plays, and I don't think they were really the right plays for that his team needed. I think they needed to tighten up, push in as a group, and then take those kills, those refrags, and unfortunately it wasn't to be. So maybe a little bit of weakness there.
All right, well, that was map 1, I guess. Anything you guys would like to add? Alex?
I mean, DC's rotations were amazing. Dropping Buck down just before plants, and the timing on that was always pixel perfect.
All right, well, let's move on to map 2. Consulate, we heard Stokes talking about it, taking control, the initiative on the attacking side is very important on Consulate. This is a map where you can also, as a defender, because there's so much space, rotate later on and go for flanks. So you have to rely on your flank watch, flank drones, something DarkZero are very good at. So let's first analyze what DarkZero have as strength on this one. Jess, what do you see with it?
You're talking about drones, and that's obviously one of my big areas of play with competitive play.
There you go.
Consulate, there is not a lot of ways to get back. And if you've got a C4, okay, you can stay under, but once the C4 is disposed of, you are rather useless below. And if you've got good drone placement, you've got that flank watch, you're almost useless below. So if they cut off those flanks and BDS are not prepared for that, then there are going to be a lot of very crucial players stuck downstairs for a top floor, for example, that need to be upstairs.
I'd say it comes down to who clears yellow fastest. That's
a very good point.
They need yellow for, 2 out of 3 of your executes, you need yellow control. And if they do go for admin, well, it's a lot more simple because you can stack everyone there.
Exactly.
But for yellow, you need windows covered. There's way too many jump outs, and we've seen Shaiko jump out and get 4Ks from there.
And you were talking about yellow and admin. I want to talk specifically on that top floor in general. 3 out of the sites, you still have to take control of that top floor regardless. So clearing top down is something that DarkZero should be very vigilant of doing every time, because as we saw, Shaiko and the rest of the team are just not afraid at all to be lurking around for the entire run. How do you do that? What operators do bring for it if it really is such a big deal?
I mean, if they're banning Nomad on border, then they're clearly not that afraid of jump outs, and their attacks look strong from both sides. So I don't think that's the real issue for them. They want to find that one player who's locked in a position, then get him killed before anyone rotates to help. I think they're going to gamble that and not worry too much about wasting utility on every jump out and cover. Maybe a Claymore too.
What do BDS improve for Consulate though compared to border now?
Oh goodness me, I think they need to make sure that there's a lot of plant denial. They really failed on border to provide any plant denial, and when they decided to bring C4s below, unfortunate for them, they were already counted before they could even do anything. So if they're going to do it, they need to do it strong, and they need to get the refrags.
All right, Alex, for you, fixes?
I would ignore bottom. I would ignore basement for BDS and then worry about the top 5.
Fair enough. So predictions for our second map. Alex, what do you think?
DC.
2-0? Jess?
I don't know. I really don't know. This could be BDS's map.
All right, fair enough. So let's see. Maybe we'll get a third map in this one. Maybe it'll all be done at map 2. Ladies and gentlemen, on to the casters for our second map, Consulate, border end at 7-5. Here's number 2. Enjoy, Blue Stokes.
All right, thank you very much, Milos and the rest of the desk. We are already in the midst of the ban phase for our second map between these two teams. It's Consulate in the event you are just joining us. Capitao will be the first operator, banned out of the match. BDS gets the second choice along with the first defender choice. They're going to take out Thatcher this time.
Thatcher, a pretty regular ban nowadays. Came from LATAM where they used to ban it a lot, and they actually still do, so gonna have Capitao gone, Thatcher gone, so that's gonna make things a little bit more complex, but we're gonna push it one step further. We're getting rid of the Mute, so the Mute Mozzie combo not going to be as potent. Reason they're gonna pick Mute over Mozzie though is because those Mute jammers can be set up downstairs on top of a lot of objects to make it to where your drone cannot roll across a floor on that mid level. It'll get Mute jammered because of the radius of that jammer. Lastly, we're gonna have Echo. That one's pretty self-explanatory, but if you're new to Rainbow Six Siege, he has some invisible drones that can stop you from putting a diffuser down. They're very important utility that are very, very great for assisting your team.
If you missed the first map as well, Drone Denial was really good for DZ on their defensive side for the most part, running a lot of that combo. Same can be said for BDS to a certain extent as well to try and limit the potential amount of info. So this is going to make it a little bit easier for attackers to try and set up their info and then through that, obviously, their executes. Basement will be the starting site that we'll head into, so cafeteria and garage. This time, importantly, though, it is DZ on defense, now BDS on the attack.
And also a very important thing to note, Sky is 6-picking from Maestro to Valkyrie. This is one of her best maps in the entire game. There is so many spots throughout this entire map for some Valk camps. Sky is going to provide. No IQ on the offense either, so these cameras will more than likely stick when he places them, unless obviously seen by the naked eye. For the offense, though, it's double hard breach, obviously no Thatcher, but plenty of soft destruction for BDS, and that's exactly what they're going to need. The issue is now, though, is that for DarkZero, it's going to be a roam setup. They're holding that mid floor.
Away from that, BDS again, already showing the capability to try and lock down some of these more aggressive setups from DarkZero based on the play from the last map. DarkZero has had to be very, very sneaky, I've noticed, for their more aggressive plays to pay off. You'll note like the Nitro cells on the East Stairs back on Border. Those had pretty much 100% success rate the 2 or 3 times that they attempted it. Other things though, like there were more wild swings to try and knock out walls and get aggressive against their fountain pushes. A lot of that failed at the end of the day, and a lot of that's due to BDS's good intel game that they have been playing throughout that half, which was limited by the activity from Mute that we were constantly seeing from DZ. So with that being gone, BDS is looking to try and restrict DarkZero's early game even more, which should allow for BDS to get quicker map control and leave more time to figure out that execute.
BDS going for the standard clear, but that's something that we highlighted quite often inside the reciprocity game. BDS does a lot of things standard, but quickly, and that's exactly what this round's going to mirror so far. Free fire from Alems towards Black Car, goes right over the head of Hot and Cold, but doesn't do any damage at all. BDS now has top control, but here's the issue. They still haven't taken anything on the mid floor. They do have a LEM set up for flank watch on yellow, or to try and cut off rotations if someone wants to get out of piano. BDS starting to work their way towards this anti-chamber when we have DarkZero members sitting inside a bathroom.
XWD will begin the rotate down spiral from the second floor, hopefully begin pinching out the members of DZ. A couple have fallen back. Swing and a miss there from RXWD as he catches the Valkyrie camera moments before he opens the hatch and potentially has an enemy on the other side. So good call. A little micro adjustment there from his opponent. Actually, just go to droning now. He's a little bit cautious of run-ups from the spiral staircase. Hyper is attempting to do it, so he's right to be wary of this.
This is pivotal moments right now for BDS. They need to see that there's no one inside of that bathroom so that they know they have complete control right now. Otherwise, they could waste a lot of time while it's basically a ghost setup. We'll start to work on the wall for the garage as they're going to rip through panel 3. That's the one that sits in front of White Van where the default set usually goes for the diffuser. Going for panel 1 now as Habana moves her way down yellow to try and hold the cross angles. Stuns pouring in to make sure that no DSs are still alive. 47 seconds, but you can see DarkZero is setting up to go for these flanks up spiral.
Same time, BDS getting that control on the inside of Piano, taking out a lot of the destruction, but the good news for DarkZero is that they are long gone from those positions. Everything that BDS is opening up right now is not going to lead to a whole lot. Skies finally getting the first kill at 30 seconds left. Hot and Cold quickly follows that up with number 2, and just like that, Alems and Shaiko, 2 of the most premier players for BDS, are out of the lineup for this round. A good nade against Skies, but it falls a bit short to take him down. This one, however, may go through, but no, there's an ADS right behind him, inside of those showers that he didn't realize, and eats them up. Rafal finally picks one up in the meanwhile for BDS, but RXWD will be traded. He's far too low to continue the fight. Hyper, along with Skies, get the last 2, and DZ claim the first round on the basement defense.
There is so much respect for DarkZero towards BDS. You guys see how they quickly backed everyone off? There was just a shell setup, a ghost setup per se, upstairs inside of the bathroom that BDS wasted a little bit of time with, but not a lot. Got it droned out, knew that no one was in there, so they didn't have to bother with that too much. But DarkZero had already backed up and set people up inside of the locker's hallway, as well as inside of kitchen and inside of the office, so that they could play for post plant if they had to. Look, Rafal is the only one that got a kill, and DarkZero gave up so much land to BDS that they should have had that plant down inside of garage. DarkZero just cut off all of their entry points. That's all they did. They held their angles towards those entry points, and when BDS tried to contest, they killed them instead of being out in no man's land inside of garage playing behind, white per se. Yep. We saw Skies be able to hang out there for quite a while, got himself a free kill off of it as well. So that tells you that BDS's soft destruction upstairs really didn't bag them that much. The fact that Skies in one of the most default areas inside of garage is able to just maintain white for practically 30 seconds of pressure onto site, that means that BDS is misstepping inside of their attack.
All right, we're heading into the notorious split site for round number 2. If you're DarkZero, going to try their luck with it. Quite a few teams have at this event. I'm actually curious to see the stats on how well it's been defended. Just from my own personal observation of the games I've casted or watched, defenders seem to have been struggling quite a bit to successfully win this one. But like I said, my actual stats on that is not correct. So it could be the other way as far as I'm concerned. A lot of that's coming down to the fact that ultimately Visa control is just getting lost far too often, and basement position isn't proving to be enough for teams to retake that upstairs site in a lot of rounds. So we'll see if DarkZero has figured out the issues with that, and they're going to be able to turn it back around.
Well, split site now between these two. One of the most unique sites that we have inside of our competitive map pool at this point in time. The diffusers are set on 2 different floors, one inside of the teller's office, one downstairs inside of server. Traditionally speaking, if you're going to take the site, you need to make sure that admin is clear first so nobody can kill you hopping in windows when you go for Visa. It's currently what BDS is focused on, but they're also going to have to worry about people like Hyper, who's currently inside of Anti and can rotate up yellow at any time to try and thwart their plans. Sky is also upstairs as well inside of bathroom.
Continuing on with the push here, BDS, they're going to be starting to work their way forwards too.
This is very scary for them.
RXWD battling out the floor from the inside of admin. They can't get that hatch open just yet. So going to be a bit of a delay on that. In the meantime, Rafal, though, cutting off the rotate angles. He's going to put one of the air jabs on the long desk. Skies will be prevented from pushing down the main hall as a result of that. He can still hold on the inside of Projector, but he is going to be droned out from that position. Be careful now with the reposition. If he ends up going a little bit too close to those spiral stairs without listening for the sound cue, he could end up getting dropped. But thankfully, he's got an escape route. He can fall back down through piano, and he's got a pretty clear-cut route over to the site. He'll just have to watch out for this top-down play that's being done by their opponents right now.
That's a big pickup for Shaiko. He's going to get the opening kill. That'll be the first one for BDS inside of this round so far. Excuse me, this map. Get the wall open for the hallway next to Teller, so now they know that nobody can play safely inside of there. BDS slowly chipping away at this defense to be able to get a diffuser down. 53 seconds remain. Mint as well, Hyper as well as Skies, both rotating towards grass. Hot and Cold gets a free kill into RXWD as he hops into the Teller's window. Another exothermic charge goes off as BDS is still trying to find some space, but Skies has actually worked his way back into the Teller's room. This Alda just singing, but no, it's shots back and Shaiko downs one. Mint trades out though as Limbs picks up that down Skies to continue to try and find where they can possibly get some safe haven to put this diffuser down.
Diffuser going to go down. Rafal, the first attempt at it. Mint is sitting directly below. Rafal does hear the rip of the tape, but it's not going to be able to get away. And in the meantime, Hyper steals another kill. There may not even be enough time left here for Renshiro to properly re-attempt this plan, or at least set up the 1v3 for himself. Just far too much pressure coming in from down below. Finally, the hold proves to be enough in this situation. Nitro Cell goes off. It is going to be a miss, but the swing has already happened from Mint to finish off that last kill. Renshiro with no chance to get it down, given the limited time and massive disadvantage he was facing. So DZ close out on their second round.
Really, really impressive. And I like how DarkZero, whenever they put Eclipse on Castle, they allow him to play aggressive. Yes, he has been first picked quite often in this role, but Castle is one of those operators that he is expendable. Granted, you would want the gun up, but why not have someone get aggressive when, as Troy would say, I'm using the worst gun in the game, Gio? Expendable character, he puts his castle barricades up, makes sure rotates with impacts, and then tries to get a free kill. Why not? I like how they're using this throughout the entire series. And honestly, it didn't seem apparent to me in their games that I had watched before where they were really doing that. So it could be something new or just how Eclipse is feeling today.
Well, either way, DarkZero definitely coming a little bit close, it seems like, on that hold. But the utility from down in the basement was ready to be deployed. And thankfully, at least when it came to the first plant attempt, which BDS just didn't leave themselves a whole lot of time for a second attempt, is interrupted without too much of an issue by DZ and their nice Nitro Cell play. Off of that, just a matter of wasting the remaining time on the final 1vx's. Taken put the round for DarkZero. Up to the upstairs site here for the third point on the site triangle for DarkZero. They complete this, they're going right back around the bend once again. So BDS, this is your last chance to try and win on a new site.
5 seconds.
Pretty standard reinforcements here from DarkZero. They've adjusted a couple just for some more Pro League-esque angles, like that reinforcement on Bathroom to make sure that you can't get shot inside of Connector. Other than that, though, pretty easy lineups here. No one going to spawn at gas station, so womp womp for Skies. He won't have a free kill to start things off with the Doc. Uh-oh, a little bit of damage to Houghton as he's playing aggressive towards the balcony windows, but it's not going to be just enough to knock off one of those quadrants from his HP bar, currently sitting around 80 HP.
Bomb located by attackers.
But between these two right now, BDS really hasn't been able to find their footing on offense. It's been standard takes for them so far, and some discussions with players as well as other commentators about Consulate and how things have been handled throughout this tournament. Not very many people are still doing it the older way of taking admin and then pushing across. A lot of people are going for yellow takes because it seems to be more consistent. BDS, though, still sticking to the most default of default things, which is admin clear across. We've seen this every single round from them thus far.
The smart glass is coming into play for Eclipse. Not something that we see utilized very often, but when it is used properly, it can actually be quite impactful, especially if players don't realize who's on the other side of it. This time, though, not going to be the case at all. Eclipse tries to swing out from behind the projector desk. He's going to get taken down. Hyper, in the meanwhile, going for a super-duper long shot kill, but is not even going to come close. In fact, he loses half of his HP in the process.
That lineup was nasty. Shaiko going to do a lot of damage to Skies, but that's the beauty of being the Doc. You're 3 armor, and you can buff yourself back up with those stim pistols. He still has 1. BDS, again, doing a great job of cutting off everything that the defense wants to do. They just need to get this execution. An amazing lineup here for Hyper to be able to watch those windows. Probably has that read out to hot and cold. He's playing and waiting inside of Connector with his last Toxic Babe. Just waiting for somebody to hop in those windows. Skies has to be worried about that lineup as well. They're wasting plenty of time right now. You gotta look to make sure that Hyper has an impact on this round. This is gonna be the saving grace for DarkZero.
Still just under a minute left, though, so I don't think BDS are too stressed about it yet. They're getting very close to the point where I think they'll feel confident to swing in for the execute, but they're not checking for Skies, let alone Hyper's position also against this window. Skies will strike first. That's gonna knock out 1, bring us back down into an even 4v4. In the meanwhile, Mint will continue to spam. He's gonna be able to take out Shaiko. Skies is next to fall as he's finally traded out by Renshiro, and that will open up the plant opportunity. Hot and cold, trying to get the smoke gas grenade around the corner, but can't get it done without exposing himself to RXWD, who finds a second right after the kill against the smoke on Hyper. Mint's now alone, a 1v3 set before him. He's trying to pre-fire over towards the vending machine, but completely misses it due to the gun model there. RXWD will claim a third to end the round, and that's BDS finally getting their footing at 2-1.
Great run out attempt there from Hyper, but that was really the end of the road for DarkZero. They had everything that they are, BDS had everything that they needed to get this diffuser down. They had control of Projector. They did everything the most default way possible, but it really worked out for them. They had the Rafal play downstairs with Nomad to make sure that nobody could Nitro sell. Again, it's all about checking those boxes, and BDS are doing a bang-up job of it right now.
2-1, still a very close fought game at this point. BDS finally catching their footing, but we do see the original site style start to get unlocked for our defending team. DarkZero can go back to the basement, and soon the split site coming up next round if they want to follow suit with the same 2 sites that they won at the beginning of this game. Let's see how they're going to look to try and defend basement, see if anything is changing up for them as we go further into this matchup.
Oh, I don't trust this. Okay, good. Skies is reinforcing that. Fantastic. Okay. I thought we were going to be doing something a little bit more troll. I thought that once I saw it break, I was like, okay, are we putting an Evil Eye outside? What are we doing? You never know when it comes to DarkZero. They could have found the most niche thing possible that handles one thing that BDS does, and they will do it.
The operator lineup is actually like pretty different from the last time they played it as well. We've got a Valkyrie, for instance, swapped out for a Maestro. We've got a Vigil coming into play where previously we had a Cade, a Mozzie coming in where we had an Ella before. And besides that, everything is the same, but still swapping out 3 operators from the previous site choice is going to indicate big changes for DZ and how they intend to play this map.
Talk about extended, sir. This is so far off the reservation. So they reinforced the middle hatch inside, and by middle hatch I mean obviously the bathroom hatch inside of the antechambers bathroom. So that's reinforced now. BDS going for the full map clear again, starting in admin, working their way across. You guys have done this before, I guarantee it. If you have played Rainbow Six, you have done this exact same clear. It's happened, but you probably weren't playing against DarkZero at the time where they have a full roam here. Eclipse and Hyper both playing upstairs. Hyper has a rotation inside a projector for himself inside of Long, but as we've seen from Shaiko in the past, he's going to try and make this work very, very quickly. And try and move in before DarkZero can get 2 set up in their angles. tries to get a free kill. They have plenty of drone work coming in as well. Drone's currently inside of the front desk area. Eclipse actually bagged one for himself with one of his pests. Had a little bit of info, so they now know that Shaiko's inside of Long. DarkZero's job here, though, waste as much time as possible. The only thing that could possibly get Eclipse killed is either this gunfight with Shaiko that he's currently taking, or if he drops Hatch into Piano.
Shaiko says bye-bye to that fight after he loses the initial 25 HP. It looks like he may be trying to wrap over towards Yellow to re-aggress from a different point or potentially catch the rotate back downstairs. And we are going to get it over the next couple of seconds here. Eclipse also on the inside of Piano, but Hyper on the rotate back down those Yellow stairs still got the better of Shaiko, despite him seemingly being pre-prepared for that.
Well, it seemed like the comm came out for Eclipse because they were holding it from the window, but Hyper came down Yellow right after. Shaiko looks to Piano, gets shot in the back. That's more than likely what happened. We didn't hear too many shots come from that angle, but we're going to have another very important gunfight now as Alems is working his way inside of Piano. He gets the kill onto Eclipse, but Hyper now knows he's here. Do they know that he's inside a bathroom? Do they know that this hatch is sealed?
They're still checking top
Yellow.
Yellow.
Yeah, they could possibly waste a lot of time, trying to find out where he is. Renshiro, no, you were so close to droning out the bathroom, but it's not going to happen. I'm going to not assume here that they have this intel because they're all sitting inside of Circle and look like they really don't know. Yeah, it looks like they haven't droned out yet, and they're going to be very, very cautious of that, but Hyper's going to get a kill anyways under RXWD. He goes prone. He could get more here, and he might just shall. He pre-fires through the wall. He ends up getting Rafal as well. That's a triple for him. Goes for the pistol whip, but no. Finally, Renshiro shuts him down, but not before the man has wasted 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock.
It's the laxing elevator all over again at this point for BDS as they leave a player undroned, trying to isolate him out. Takes so long. Alems now the last man standing. Renshiro was lost on the push into the garage, and Alems will be caught on the side of White Van. DarkZero with yet another round going under their control. That's a 3-1 lead.
All I want to know is what was Jordan doing? Because like BC just comes in, stands behind him. They start just killing everybody, but Jordan stands behind them, Bacon, and nothing happens. I blame Bacon for all of DarkZero. That's what I do. I just blame Bacon. It's all Bacon's fault, all of it. You put BC in there, and he just wins. He just wins games.
Yeah.
He technically speaking,
it's going right now. Anyway.
Technically speaking, they have not lost a match yet with BC standing behind them.
Just a genius. 6 billion IQ.
Mr. Clean is cleaning house.
At least when it comes to EU teams anyway right now.
DarkZero is what NA needed.
Well, let's see if they can take it all the way.
Flip side tactics walked so that DarkZero could run.
Well, let's see how far DarkZero are going to be able to take it. They are just 4 more rounds away from being able to close out on this entire match in 2-0 fashion against BDS, sending them on to the upper bracket semifinal here at the playoff stage.
It makes you realize, like, even though obviously our esport is still very young, just looking back at how many organizations and how many roster changes have happened within like the last 4 years, it's incredible to see that. Like we're about to be on year 5. That's insane to me, you know. Like I remember buying the SK F2 skin for Twitch, you know. Like it's crazy how much history there is in this game already. It's truly insane. DarkZero though, going to be going back to their split site. Hyper's actually upstairs. Looks like he's setting up for the Nitro cell that we've seen thrown quite a couple times here, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Tape's already ripped, so that no one has any intel on that when they rappel up. Don't hear for that tape rip. You just have an explosive in your face. Oh, Hyper. This could mean the round here. Oh, but it's going to sail too far. Just too close to the window. He needed to back up just a little bit to have it land at their feet, so that's going to be expended as he rotates back towards Projector.
It's important to remember, guys, with regards to our new format here, just for a second, the teams that continue on in the upper bracket are fighting for an advantage when it comes to the grand final, and it is quite a big one at that. Our grand final is a best of 5 as per usual, but the team that manages to make it through the upper bracket is going to get that 1 map advantage in the grand final. So, very important. That's what DarkZero is fighting for right now. If they end up continuing onwards, they're going to look to maintain their chances to have that advantage by going all the way through the upper bracket. Good start to the round, though, from Alems. Is he going to be able to find out Eclipse?
This is the exact same thing that happened the last round, and DarkZero was still able to win it. We saw Eclipse be the first body, but he died a lot earlier on. This time he stayed alive for about 1 minute and 15 seconds, whereas the last time he died in that sub-minute category. So wasted a little bit more more time, but BDS has a lot more map control this time as opposed to the last, where they are actually going to be able to get some pressure onto tellers. They also have what seems to be RXWD upstairs inside of admin with plenty of holes. DarkZero now need to make this rotation happen. Hyper and Skies were last time up here and tried to thwart the plans, but eventually rotated downstairs before BDS could get their plant off. We saw Skies get some pressure into tellers. Really didn't work out for him though. He got fragged out, but it was just another line of defense for DarkZero to inevitably shred the offense of BDS.
Time continuing to tick down further and further here. A little over a minute remaining though, which may not seem like a lot if you're newer to Siege, but trust us, it is quite a bit. You only need about 20 seconds in order to pull off your execute, even in some of the more dodgy situations. And this is one where things can certainly get a little awkward for quite a few teams, because it's one of the few sites where they are split on 2 separate floors, which is why we call this one, hey, the split site. Makes sense, doesn't it? Shaiko, in the meantime, now on the lurk. He's made it all the way down these back stairs. Reval going for a plant. He's going to look to interrupt any attempt from his opponents to try and stop it, but no, it's Skies with a direct gunplay that's going to be able to take him down. A second attempt works out, though, to get onto the ground, and now Shaiko strikes, moving in to eliminate Hot and Cold, still holding that basement angle. Mint is still here, but he's going to become incredibly passive, though, as he doesn't know exactly where Shaiko went. In the meantime, he rotates right up. Bye-bye to Hyper, and now Mint and Skies are all that's left.
Shaiko's timing is something absurd, let me tell you, but DarkZero is going to have to do something absurd to bring this round back. It's looking more difficult by the second. Mint brings it to the 2v3, though. Almost gets another. Mint taps the head off of Rafal, but not before he kills Skies. They have all the post-plant positions. Not very much time left. Shaiko with a triple kill after he sneaks down admin stairs, and that'll be BDS with round 5.
Yeah, it's the admin stairs lurk that really seals the deal here for BDS. Shaiko specifically pulling off a massive sneak play, getting right behind DarkZero and interrupting their plans to stop the plant when we got down to a low time situation.
Look at how slow he handled that situation, though.
So much control.
He literally alt-walked all the way down the staircase, made sure he had a drone in front of him. This wasn't just Shaiko being Shaiko. This was Shaiko and BDS working together in order to accomplish a goal. They needed to make sure that they shut down everyone downstairs so that Nitros couldn't kill their planter, or once that post plant happened and everyone's looking up into the sky, he's able to bag some free kills. And that's exactly what happened. They get into post plant, Shaiko swings the door immediately. He even shot at the mirror, but the mirror didn't even acknowledge his presence. They just continued to look up into the sky. Shaiko bags some free kills and ends up getting a triple on the round. Overall, amazing showing there from BDS. An amazing showing from Shaiko on the Habana.
A little bit of a rough game right now for Eclipse specifically, who has traditionally been one of the better players here at this event, but at least when it comes to early round play, he's been a little bit hit or miss so far, and specifically in this series, while map 1 didn't really show any struggles, it's a little bit rough for him right now on map number 2 without a single kill to his name yet. Now, to be fair, at least when it comes to this site, and I imagine similarly on the other sites, he's playing very, very dangerous positions, so it would make sense for him to go down, but he's certainly imagining himself to try and be picking up at least a couple trades in the process, though. So having that donut right now is not helping his case.
Yeah, and Eclipse, honestly, in the past, especially with the SMG-12 in hand, we've seen be able to do quite a bit of work. So this Warden can definitely work out for him. We haven't seen Warden instituted too much inside of Siege, even though he's been available for quite some time. Same amount of time as Nook, which we've seen actually a lot more play from her, funny enough. She just got a buff on the FMG-9 as well. So we're starting to see her a little bit more, but she's regularly speaking a 6-pick.
Warden's popping up every once in a while in kind of, niche situations like this with
Like
a
blue
smart...
stairs,
Yeah, like where the smart glasses are actually useful, we're seeing him pop up every once in a while. So he's starting to find a place, but it's just, it's more situational than anything right now.
I mean, you can definitely tell why Warden would be amazing to apply to Projector. 90% of the utility of the offense gets poured into that room. Why would you not want to see through it?
And he's already done it once. He's already been able to counter out flashbang dumps that have happened against him 1 or 2 times here. It's just he's still getting picked.
Yeah, Red Shiro just swung on him, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it doesn't counter concussions, so. Which is kind of a sad thing for him, because he's going to have to deal with Renshiro once again, as Renshiro is currently getting on the balcony. RXWD setting up the flank for admin stairs, so he can look through that through short. Still going to have Mint contesting long, though, as BDS once again with the admin take.
Oh, slow push at the start of the round once more. A lot of focus on the droning effort right now as they're going to be able to swing a couple of them through long desk. Probably getting a good amount of intel as to what their top yellow setup is looking like. And in the meantime, Shaiko, right from the outside of Projector, is going to start opening up the walls, hopefully funneling out Eclipse. And again, this is just one of those unfortunate situations for him. He's going to be able to survive it, at least for the time being, though, as he's given an option to retreat this time, backing out down through that hatch.
His nitro's already been expended as well. The only nitro cell on the whole team is Skies currently. He's currently inside of Antechamber underneath. So now 3 members of the DarkZero squad are off-site, but no, Eclipse has rotated himself back to the top of yellow as BDS is setting up for the exact same plant as they had the last time. It's going to be into the western side of that room. They also have Rafal down low, looking for that nitro cell kill again as he opens up an angle into bathroom. He has a drone down here, so Skies is going to have to play this perfectly. Otherwise, BDS is getting a plant, but it's going to be Eclipse to start us off. He rotates from yellow, actually up spiral, and sits in the corner. He cuts Shaiko off guard. Very difficult thing to do as that man is so good at checking his corners, but not this time.
Continuing to play onwards. Eclipse finally getting onto the board with a nice lineup. It's 2 so far in this round. Skies with the nitro cell pickup as well. Renshiro is going to get killed on hop, so will be allowed to complete it. But as he goes down, his only other teammate is soon to follow with Rafal getting knocked out. That's yet another round going into the hands of DarkZero, and Eclipse finally getting himself onto the board.
And that was all on Eclipse being able to get out of Projector. If he dies in Projector, then they don't get that kill onto Shaiko while Shaiko was trying to get some more pressure onto Long. They were trying to rotate him off so that he could go up yellow, chose to take Spiral, dies to Eclipse sitting inside of that corner because they didn't have anybody holding the angle for the staircase when he rotated from yellow originally. So amazing play there from DarkZero. And again, look at how much they adjust. Eclipse was safe when he was playing yellow. He technically speaking didn't have to move, but instead moved himself up the line. He wanted to play aggressive. He was already moved out of his positioning, and he knows if anybody stuns the top of Spiral, he can just turn on his glasses and probably get a kill. Instead, he gets 2 and helps DarkZero get that round before switching sides.
All right, guys, round 7. That is the beginning of the second half, which means the teams have now flipped. DarkZero is on the attack. BDS is on the defense with all sites unlocked for play. Following that up, BDS, however, still behind by 2 rounds. And they're going to have to make a massive effort to come back once again. Not as bad as it was on Border, of course, but still behind, and especially if DarkZero gets off to a hot start here with a win against the basement attack. BDS is going to find themselves back in the hot seat very, very quickly.
This is very troubling. This is BDS in a position that we don't see BDS in very often. Even inside of their game against G2, where G2 was playing the most sporadic offense possible, taking offense on Cafe, then playing Glass, Fuse, anything inside of the book. Monty, they were playing everything, even when it came down to defense with the Tachanka pick, to try and throw BDS off. That's the thing for BDS, is if that a team does something that they do not expect, they do not have the best chance of winning out that round. Now, for this defensive setup from BDS, it's quite standard, but again, they do a very good job of roam pressure, but not this round in particular. RXWD is the first blood from Hyper on a very nice angle into short.
RXWD getting droned out pretty much right from the beginning of the round there, so unfortunately, although he tries to maintain a bit more of an aggressive position, he is fished out when they attempt to take him down there, and as he specifically attempts to retreat. Bye-bye to the Mozzie. Pests should have been already deployed, though, so the utility is not really lost here. Hot and cold, though, finding Shaiko, belief towards yellow. That's a big one. Alems is going to try to move in and take his place for the trade, but even he's a little hesitant on the peak now, and he's going to get checked by a drone in a moment here anyway.
DarkZero knows what the most important staircase is for this site when it comes to those early rotations. It's always yellow because you expect people to play the bottom of Spiral, you expect people to play the other areas, but when they're going for an admin clear, you don't expect someone to be playing yellow, and Shaiko gets bitten by that. DarkZero just playing a little bit ahead of the curve.
Just shoot out the fan movement there, get rid of the default camera in the process. It's Hyper now going to open up a little bit of the floorboard just outside of the bathroom by the hatch. Eclipse is going to do some of the same towards Piano. There is players nearby that'll either take the fight or potentially be exposed by these positions. Some shotgun play potentially coming out there from our man on the inside of Cafeteria as well. I believe that's for Fall. Shaiko, in the meantime, or Lems, excuse me, hunting down those drones to try and prevent his position from being exposed. It won't stop the garage from being opened, though. Lems, I think, a little bit too late to try and trick that out. He does throw his last Electro Claw down on the remaining portion of the wall to try and delay a little bit further. But ultimately here, DarkZero starting to get a lot of control, but there's always that possibility. Lems finally getting that lineup on the Nitro Cell that he's been looking for quite a while for. He's going to be able to strike the first kill on DZ as he takes down Skies.
DarkZero continuing to cinch down on site. Still plenty of utility, but no, a Toxic Babe bounces off of Lems and ends up going wide there. So
weird bounce.
Yeah, very weird bounce. Obviously, you saw the impact and a little bit of health loss, but it instead ricochets off and goes wide left. Hot and Cold playing behind Black Car now, and no one's going to have anything to try and prevent him. Hot and Cold gets the diffuser down. A Lems right under the tailcoats of Eclipse actually gets him, trailing there for just a second, but it's 3v3 post plan, and DarkZero already has everything set up. Lems working his way to the top of yellow. We do have Mint actually playing there. Lems takes down one, makes it a triple as Hyper tries to get aggressive through Z. They need to keep these positions though. DarkZero set up as they're going for the defusal right now. They more than likely have a cam set up. Rafal almost through, but it's going to be a lot of kills to try and shut him down. Oh no, Mint! He gets the two people standing to the side, but not the man that's actually on the defusal, and BDS gets around for free.
I think either his gun model got in the way, or he just didn't realize that it was right below his crosshair was the true target he needed to be looking for. Sound in those situations can be quite deceiving just due to how much is going on. You had the players outside going for a bit of a skirmish as well, so just not able to properly realize that situation. So unfortunate for DarkZero, as it seemed like they had the capability to interrupt that, but slipped up in the micro details.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was just the micro details there, because all day that is a DarkZero round if he kills that man that's on the diffuser. But again, this is Rainbow Six Siege. All it takes is one misstep and you don't get around. So BDS are be counting their lucky stars, because that was definitely a lucky one. Looks like we're going to be going for roughly the same thing that DarkZero was doing upstairs. So we'll have to see if they handle it the same way on offense as BDS did, which was going for those admin clears. Again, we've been seeing a lot of yellow takes when it comes to this site, but throughout this tournament, admin takes have been actually more of a European thing, to be completely honest with you. We do have one thing that is an outlier, though, that is a big change up for BDS, and that's already what I was going to talk about. It's the Clash. Clash coming in. This is a regular pickup for RXWD. We haven't seen him play it a crazy ton during this tournament, but for BDS, they have had quite a few setups that involve RXWD on this shield. So we'll have to see how it works out for him.
Round just getting started here, and DarkZero looking for another win for themselves. Almost everybody spawning over here by the gas station to start their push towards yellow, as you mentioned, admin. Not necessarily something that we have seen all the North American representatives trending towards so far at this event, so we are going to see yellow be the main point of contention, at least to start the round instead, and that means players are also going to be getting up on Rappel into the console office. Try and start pushing these guys out as well. As you'll see, looks like the Maestro being played by Rafal is going to be pushed back a little bit into the connector as a result of the drone work that's now being done by DZ.
Well, DarkZero definitely knows that there's roamers on BDS now, as Eclipse almost catches a bullet through bench window. Still, the drones do their rounds, though, for DarkZero. They've done a very good job of doing quick work, more than likely due to the fact of their preset drones throughout the map. That's usually how you speed up the process. Make sure you have that set up, and you can even speed it up faster with the Dokkaebi. Drop that logic bomb, you get calls, and you can hear, obviously, the vibration of all those cellular devices instantaneously, and you know which parts of the map are clear early on, so you can get that early pressure. We haven't seen Dokkaebi, though. We've just been seeing a lot of amazing droning from DarkZero. Skies is going to confirm once again that RXWD is down low. They need to get rid of these ADSs here before a frag grenade pours in. Another concussion just to make sure. Frag grenade comes in, but it'll just destroy the already burnt ADSs. RXWT takes a little bit of damage, but just not enough. Shaiko's actually going to have our first blood here. He gets it on yellow window as Hot and Cold just repels in too close to the sun.
Great contention. DarkZero still looking for a way to get around it, and they do find Renshiro following that up. Also going to see a Lems get dropped. RXWD canceling out the drone that's sent his way. Again, just trying to deny intel at this point. DarkZero relying heavily upon that in order to properly weigh out their executes the nade going in. Quick adjustment there from RXWD to dodge the damage, though he is still in the way on yellow, and there is still presence from Shaiko across the way on the inside of Console. Now they can get a player up on Repel to try and push Shaiko back a little bit more, and eventually leave RXWD just alone here to finally allow the attackers to deal with her.
This is a big issue. We already saw Eclipse trying to make an adjustment down low, more than likely going for Spiral. Hyper's also going to get off yellow. They have this droned out. This could be a lot of trouble, though. This is going to be the issue. If they go for a full yellow take here, they're going to have to walk into RXWD, who slows down the process exponentially. So very slow. A swing, and Eclipse gets him as he turns around, though, towards the window. Shaiko has to stop this right now, but he can't. Oh, no. Are they going to get the plant inside of CEO? They have to make it there first. They know where the Maestro is. Gunfights ensue, but no! DarkZero doesn't even need the plant. They just need Hyper to put a bullet in the head of Rafal.
Once again, great mid-round play coming out from DarkZero, focusing almost entirely on that yellow take at the start. They realize the obstacle that is thrown in front of them and quickly work to stop it. They know about the cross angles on the inside of Bathroom and to a certain extent Shaiko's position from the inside of Console. So they move the Ash around to the window down by the Spiral's hallway and are able to take out the floorboard below, eliminating the presence on the inside of Bathroom. At that point, going up Repel, they force the reposition of Shaiko to go out towards the yellow door where he can no longer really save the life of the Clash in that situation. At that point, the attackers take bottom yellow stairs, swing into the Bathroom, pinch it out, and then it's just a simple man advantage 2vx to win it out.
Rafal 6 picking from the Maestro to the dock, more than likely wants the ACOG for more aggressive gunfights, and that's exactly how BDS has to fix this situation. It's the exact same lineup, all except for that 6 pick from the Maestro, and the exact same reinforcements going up, so that means you're going to see RXWD back on yellow as that Clash. For DarkZero, though, they're going to have to try and figure this out to quicken the pace, because what BDS is going to attempt to do is show gunfights. They want these gunfights now. That's how they're going to try and slow down DarkZero, is get these early kills to where they can't handle yellow with enough bodies. That's how DZ fixed the situation last time. We saw Skies on the Bathroom window. They rotated Eclipse down low. He made sure nobody was in bench and that there was no holes so that when the Buck swung the window, he wouldn't die. Eclipse then rotates up yellow. Obviously, all the ADS is already burnt, and they go swing, and they both swing, excuse me, at the same time to where Clash has to pick her poison, ends up getting the kill, taking control of yellow, and then worked your way in towards site. Beautifully played from DarkZero, especially at how low of time they had.
Eclipse just letting me know that I've seen the camera, so that's not going to be staying alive for a very long time. Should be taken out right about now, and there it goes. The Valk cam just not thrown far enough to hide away from the members of DZ as they come out of spawn.
Yeah, that's a F in chat for BDS there. Very nice camera, though, but immediately gets spotted by the drone, as you said. So BDS going to do a little bit of an extended roam here. We have Renshiro downstairs inside of Tellers. Probably seeing if he can get a free nitro cell or something of the sort if they do go for an admin take. But as we've seen from DarkZero, they don't like those, and that's kind of an NA thing at this point. We see a couple of other teams, obviously internationally, do it, but again, European teams seem to don't even talk about it.
That's not even like the right way to pronounce it. That's the worst part.
What?
It'd be Europa. That's what it would be.
Yeah, exactly. That's what anyways, European teams have been seemingly stuck to admin takes, which again, kind of the old-fashioned way of doing things. DarkZero making these yellow takes work, but again, they're going to have to deal with the exact same minigame, the boss being the Clash.
Yeah, it's the same overall plan from DarkZero. They know how to find the counter, but like you said, there's going to be, should anyway, be much more active contention this time from BDS, which was really the one thing they were missing. DarkZero kind of had their way with their adjustments and were able to get into the positions they need to, although it took a very long time, eventually counter out RXWD. The nade coming in sends him slinging to the side. They're not going to own what? RXWD with either a missed call from his teammate on the inside of the Bathroom or a big miscalculation backs up right into the view of the player on Repel. A nice pinch from the players on DarkZero.
That pinch was insane from DarkZero. The amount of utility that came in that window to force the Clash backwards. She didn't even take any damage from those explosives. Doc, already having the stem in hand, knows that someone's probably going to try and pressure him from below, and he would be absolutely correct. Rafal trying to stay alive as long as possible. More damage from the secondary breaching round, but Rafal gets the kill into Hyper, and he's going hunting as he hops out the Bathroom window. Eclipse with the double kill, though, as he stops in midair.
Fall just squeezed a little bit too much there, so he jumps out the window, goes a little crazy, and that's going to hand the man advantage back over to DarkZero. A bold play indeed from BDS, but at this point it does not pan out. Shaiko, still with Yellow Stairs control though, is the equalizer in this situation as he moves in to bring us down to a 3v3. Sky's now looking to send it back, but again, Shaiko's still in the way, and now time is a massive factor against DZ. They have to swing in, they have to win all these fights, and they just don't have the angles or the intel to do it. Shaiko with the second on the round. Alem's drop finished off by Eclipse, but also taken down by Shaiko. The plant is coming in the meanwhile, as it's down to the last man alive. They can't find him. Plant's gonna go down, but he can't maintain position. Is pinched out right as the diffuser finally is lifted onto the ground, or dropped onto the ground. And Renshiro will be the one to pull off the counter defuse as BDS gets their 4th round onto the board. Very, very close though.
I mean, damn. DarkZero just makes you fight for every inch, man. You think you shut him down, and then Hot and Cold's just off in console, putting a diffuser down. All of a sudden, the timer hits 0-0. BDS is practically high-fiving each other already. And they go, oh, he's planting. We have to go find him. That was so very close there. If Shaiko gets overly aggressive and hops that hole, DarkZero has a chance there. Hot and Cold has a chance to win that 1v2, but BDS played it very, very well. They, I'm going to assume, heard him probably typing away on the keyboard, knew that he was inside of that room, and pinched it out perfectly. A great round there from BDS to counter what DarkZero wanted to do. BDS had already had the map laid out for them as to how DarkZero wanted to handle that, and they presented more problems. Specifically, once RXWD died and they didn't have as much harsh vision onto Yellow, Shaiko retook it and started playing aggressive, and that is what won BDS that round. All on Shaiko regaining control of Yellow and making DarkZero go elsewhere.
So into round number 10 now. DarkZero's lead continuing to dwindle as BDS gets closer and closer to tying us up, soon to potentially be at 5-5. Great mid-round play from Shaiko with the loss of RXWD on the clash. Was able to take the team out of the equation, place himself in those Yellow Stairs, and bring out a massive play. A little bit of downstairs play going to be coming in here this time as well for the folks on BDS, as Limbs is going to be holding that off. It's been reinforced at the garage. We've even got cage charges sitting on it as well to try and prevent any push from working its way in onto the garage here. BDS fighting heavily for the basement on this lobby and piano defense.
DarkZero hasn't had to deal with this one just yet. See how well they do. Bring in the usual lineup of the usual suspects that we see from them on this offensive half here. They have not changed up anything except for Heart Breachers. Hot and Cold just switching back between Thermite and Habana. Overall, though, for the scoreboard of DarkZero, pretty equal across the entire board. We're not seeing somebody put up crazy numbers just yet. Renshiro, though, is getting shot from what seems to be every single angle. Now he's stuck. Nitro Cell goes out, gets stuck on the windowsill, but no, Eclipse is going to repel a little bit too close. Immediate trade there from Hyper. Renshiro assuming DarkZero doesn't have 2 people in the window, but he would be sorely mistaken.
Good little bait on the Nitro Cell from Renshiro. Gets the aim of his opponent messed up to get the first kill, but wasn't expecting the second player on repel, and is quickly traded back out. Hyper now moving in to take Yellow Stairs control away and isolate out any of the remaining roamers that may be upstairs. In the meanwhile, though, here comes Lems. He's got that heartbeat scanner out. A lot of intel going on to Hyper. Should notice the push coming down the stairs, and we'll hear those shots in just a second. But the swing coming in from Lems, and it succeeds to take down Hyper.
Great cardiac sensor work there from Lems, and he's going to be able to stay alive as well. It's a very big deal. That cardiac sensor can make or break a round for your team. Now, look at Shaiko rotating up spiral, folks. Lems working that cardiac sensor below means that he can give all of this intel to Shaiko, but actually Lems has fallen off even deeper into the basement. It can actually still read up to that floor, though. So if Shaiko gets any help from a Lems down low, it could definitely help him out inside of those gunfights.
Shaiko just got droned out of his position, however, and I think he knows it, so he's fallen back down to the bottom of main stairs. Still could potentially catch some players, though. You've got Mint running in right now. Shaiko not really in a position to where he would have been able to catch that. There's too much wooden barricade in the way, so Mint's going to take control for free. But Mint, man, he's got to be careful opening this door. Oh, the spam coming through on Shaiko, though, in the side hall. Takes him out of the equation and evens us back out again into another 3v3.
Still have hard destruction, still have soft destruction, still have flank watch. Mint's already set up all of his air jabs. They're clearing out the top area one more time, but again, this is the mid floor they're worried about. Mid was going to be a huge key to that round, but Alems makes sure to dash his hopes away. Rafal's down though, so it's all on the nitro cells to try and stop everything now. Specifically Alems, but no, he gets the kill from off in Narnia somewhere. He's already back upstairs. That's the power of a 3-speed for you, and this is more than likely not going DarkZero's way. Skies with very minimal time. It hits the 0-0 mark, and DarkZero lose round 10. BDS tie things up.
Great map rotation coming in specifically from Alems on BDS on that round. Played numerous positions to leverage kills, often aggressively, and it worked out beautifully for him. He got that kill against the yellow stairs Zofia that was trying to push down, mainly just due to tracking her down for so much time on that cardiac sensor, and then makes the run back through admin, or through Visa, excuse me, to go up those stairs and to the inside of Projector, where he can eventually cut off the plan attempt with less than 10 seconds left.
BDS is doing a lot better job of rotations as well as flanks. They're still being aggressive and taking these gunfights when they have info, but they're not doing it to the point where they're risking their defensive side. They're not, all dying on roam within a minute and 15 seconds and just letting DarkZero execute. Because if it was going that way, I can assure you, DarkZero would be winning those rounds. With this intel that BDS is able to procure, though, they're getting a lot of these kills early. They're very impactful throughout the round, and they continue to be on the winning side when it comes to DarkZero, trying to fight themselves out of these issues. For instance, Mint rotating downstairs as Nomad. If he kills the Pulse, that entire round goes a different way. But instead, Renshiro finds him and is able to get a really, really nice kill. Overall, some great play.
DarkZero's pause is now concluded, so we are going back in game. It is locked and loaded at 5-5. Both teams even. First to 7 will win, but if they tie at 6, it goes the full distance of another 3 rounds to decide the winner of the map.
It was the Alems on the Pulse, by the way. Apologies for that. Yeah. And just
Defenders, protect your bombs from
5 people switching through operators randomly. You always got to wait for the list to update. It's always a good time.
attackers have located a bomb.
Either way, going to basement now for BDS's next defense. Saw them throw quite a bit at this one, quite a bit of defensive setup, I should say, at this position in garage on the last round, but that was when it was off-site. Now it's the primary site. We're probably going to see just as much resistance thrown in. That includes the full bandit, which we haven't necessarily seen as much of recently due to how well people have been able to figure out counters as of late. Bandit tricking has become much more difficult as a result of that.
Well, opening kills not meaning as much as they have in the past. Both teams currently in the negative for those, so BDS on the losing side, obviously. But as we get things all tied up, whichever team is able to win out this round will be on map and match point. For BDS, that means everything. If they're able to get there first and win 2 rounds in a row, that means that they will end this off 7-5, and we'll be heading to our last map, which will be Coastline. For DarkZero, though, that means that they really avoid everything else. They send BDS down to the lower bracket. That's what they want to do. They're only 2 rounds away from securing a very nice day off on this Tuesday.
So, DarkZero once again getting into position here. It's going to be upstairs clear first for these guys. Not much in the way of roam game here at the moment from BDS. In fact, it is entirely clear. Thank you for that. Everybody else playing more for downstairs control at this point. Furthest aggression we see is going to be Alems playing on that spiral position. In the meantime, Mint's going to start moving his way forward, setting up the first of those air jabs on the inside. The Visa offices, Alems are at the very top. Spiral waiting for the cross to come in. His opponent on the other side, Mint, was just getting ready to throw another air jab in that position. Now can complete the task, since we've seen Alems fall back a bit. He's going to try to see if he can shoot it. A little bit too cautious on working his way out any further than that to try and get the shot off, just because he doesn't want to get tripped up by it.
Head above the sandbags is a head that is gone. You don't want to do that. So they're going to back off. BDS now all choked downstairs. Don't have a very safe means of travel anymore. All except for what appears to be yellow. But no, hot and cold is actually there as well, as you see him repelled up. So DarkZero has full map control now. BDS is going to have a lot to do to try and get this to work on their defensive side. DarkZero looking for the early picks. You can see that Skies is respecting the nitro cells from below now. He's playing the black top inside of piano, does not want to get nitro celled. A couple of shots meet Shaiko. They're not going to kill him just yet. Hot and cold now going for the walls as Skies has secured those.
First opening going to come into the wall right now Finally, some more angles open up for DarkZero to push into this site with. Yellow control slowly shifting into their favor here too, which is where BDS's hold position starts to get crunched. A little bit of a flashbang is going to cost them a couple of extra seconds here. Nothing too dramatic at this point, but we'll follow up on that later on in the round. As for some of the other players on BDS, Shaiko, Renshiro having been pushed back as DarkZero is trying to get aggression going on this part of the map too. You can even see lineups for Renshiro to try to catch players that might be roaming by that hatch in the side closet. Shaiko, in the meanwhile, does catch a lineup against Hot and Cold, eliminating him, and DarkZero still have no path to get into this site. That's going to be Hot and Cold that's taken out by him on the push in from Garage. And again, Mint this time gets the trade, takes Shaiko out of the equation with 15 seconds left and quite a few members of BDS still free and clear on the roam. This could get dangerous. Eclipse moving in, gonna start the Planet Tempera. Fall with the most recent kill though, taking down Mint. They're gonna try and stop the plant from going down, and so far they've succeeded in that. RXWD with the push forward, stops the last attempt, and BDS win it out on the timer.
What a round from BDS, able to get those initial kills off of very, very bad locations. Very difficult gunfight there from Shaiko, but what else would you expect from him than winning that out with 1 HP? DarkZero just not having the man count in order to get that diffuser off. That Evil Eye chipping at Eclipse's health made it very, very perilous in order for him to do that. So DZ tries to throw everything at sight, ends up getting chewed down. So BDS, though, with Alems in the lead once again. He's had such a good land so far. He did not start off well on border, but now he's definitely hit his stride. 11-3-8, playing everything under the sun.
Once again, stepping up massively so far at this tournament, really coming into his own. We talked about it the other day, he's really feeling good now that he's fully committed to this roster and is going to be able to grow with them over time. He's really liking this team, and it shows with how much he's been able to flourish, especially in late round situations, to save them and really become the hero of the team in more than one situation, and not even just in this match.
That's very troublesome for DarkZero as well. That's going to be 3 rounds in a row here from BDS. DarkZero can obviously still win this in a 2-0 fashion, though, if they're able to push this to overtime. That would obviously extend the game a little bit. And in case you guys are wondering how those map choices work and how OT works for us, it's a best of 3 rounds for OT, and whoever picked the map gets to choose the overtime side. So for this, it is DarkZero's pick on Consulate, so that means DarkZero gets to choose their side. More than likely defense, because that's definitely where they're performing better.
Little palm tree camera there. Do not have an IQ on the attacking side, so they may not spot it. It did get thrown out kind of late, though, so we'll see if anyone's able to catch the blue glow from it as they waltz by it, since it's pretty close to the spawn locations of everybody on DZ. Not going to necessarily be the case right now, though. Renshiro is still also having one more camera to try and chuck out here. Looks like he's going to set that up right now for the team. And there it is.
For now, DarkZero just needs to trust the process. BDS, again, ahead, and if they do win this round, then it'll end in 7-5 fashion. The thing you don't want to see DarkZero do is slow things down. They've been so good throughout this series so far at keeping pace on offense and making BDS feel every single move and every single error that they make. Between these two, this has been pretty incredible. But as you guys can see, it's been an adjustment for DarkZero here. They're not going for the yellow take anymore. They're going to admin for the very first time. They're handling it in a very similar fashion as BDS did. They're going to be taking copy here momentarily after the X-Kairos open the safe position here by vending. Hyper will drone that out. Make sure to make that connector there from the kitchenette into short. Everything going well for DarkZero right now.
Push coming out soon now from RXWD and the rest of BDS. Try and isolate out some more of the pressure that's already been sent in towards admin from DZ. 3 players on the inside of this room to commit themselves towards it. Mint also holding downstairs in the spiral position, waiting to take his own control, I would say in the next 20 to 30 seconds or so here as the team moves forward and takes more confident control of copy. Nade gonna go over the top. There does not look like there are ADSs in there, and no, there certainly won't be. That nade's not even necessarily to find Renshiro, though. It's gonna take out the table, prevent anyone from playing actively against the swing-in from the balcony, as they've got this clash to deal with once again, too.
Some very good luck there with that frag grenade that it broke the table, like you said. Also makes Renshiro rotate off. He's downstairs inside of Anti, but as we've seen from DarkZero before, they're very good at checking this box. You see Mint downstairs over inside of Visa. He's more than likely going to rotate very soon once they go for this defusal. They don't want him getting exploded, but they're in luck. Renshiro actually does not have a nitro cell RXWD, though, has picked up Projector. He gets downed, he gets fragged. DarkZero now has control. They just have to try and stop everyone while they go for this defusal plant. Still 30 seconds left on the clock. Hyper gets the opening frag now, though, onto Shaiko. That's the important one. He's been able to stop them every single time that they go for these plants. They have connector, they have underneath, and they have a defusal plant. Hyper gets a double kill. Rafal and Renshiro to try and battle things back. All they have right now is long. Renshiro gets his first kill, but immediately gets traded, and it's DarkZero to make this OT.
OT in map number 2. We're going to go the distance this time. DZ not bowing down to take this to a third map. They want to end it here and now, and they're going to get their chance to in overtime. Also, finally dealing with the clash issue of, okay, we just won't go yellow stairs then. Let's just go for the admin take, and we'll deal with that real quick.
I was not awake when we started commentating this. I can tell you that for a fact. I drank that tea. I tried to do, my due diligence, chat. That's what I tried to do.
To go to bed earlier.
Yeah, I needed to go to bed earlier. I just could not sleep. Ended up going to bed at like 2:30 a.m. while watching VOD. Like, it just was not working, man. Was not working. But this match has definitely woke me up. It's insane how well all of these players are playing. I mean, guys, nobody is slacking. Look at this scoreboard. Even all the way down to RXWD. He's 4-9, but he's been playing Clash for most of their defenses. He's played them 3 of their 6 defenses, and he's got 4 kills. This is such good Siege. This is the things that just make you happy inside.
All right, well, let's see if DarkZero can make themselves very happy with a quick trip onward to the upper bracket semifinal with a 2-0 over BDS. But with BDS coming into their own here on the defensive half, they've been able to leverage OT, just fell apart in the final 2 rounds that they had for themselves to try and close out. So now DarkZero is going to look to try and steal this away once again.
That last round really just makes you question if DarkZero should have just thrown them for a loop earlier on that site and went for an admin take. Yeah, because
it's so much easier.
Yeah, it really did, and BDS wasn't ready for it either. They had already had all their ADSs set up. On yellow, they assumed DarkZero was going to do the exact same thing, but as you guys hear me harp on literally all the time, Rainbow Six is all about flexibility and changing things up. I say it constantly, I'm sorry, but it's a very important point, and it's something that you guys need to have burnt into your memories. If you do something different, the team that you're playing against is not ready for it. That's what DarkZero did with that last take.
So we got the Cade in play once again to wall off the garage door here and prevent access for BDS from swinging inside. Shaiko is going to move in regardless, though. No one is really defending that or holding against the yellow door push, so it's just a simple job of swinging in and shooting it to take care of that utility. Much less difficult than trying to eliminate bandit batteries. Now Alem's going to move in. He's going to end up getting tripped up, though, and taken down by Skies very fast from BDS. Skies gets 2, now 3, as he cannot be stopped except by Renshiro, who finally takes him down, but not before he rips apart 3 members of his team. Down to Shaiko and Renshiro now to try and bring this back. Shaiko going to be able to move in, manages to retrieve himself the diffuser. Renshiro importantly with a backside position, but here's the problem, they don't have a cut of butt. Nicely done, Shaiko jumps off his own plant, saves his own life, and brings us into an even fight. Second attempt at the plant coming in. Oh no, but this time Hyper gets the better of Shaiko and is able to take him down. That's diffuser lost. Renshiro now alone in the 1v2. He's going to have to try and swing up pipe saws, but no, as we can see, just too much utility set in his way, runs into an Elamine, panic sprays, giving away his position. Now we're going to work for a little bit more drone presence here, just to try and figure this out. Remember, folks, this all happened at the beginning of the round, so there is still a minute and a half remaining. This was an incredibly early and an incredibly aggressive push from BDS. And although it looked like it was going to completely fail, it's still possible for Renshiro. It's just very, very difficult. Diffuser on the ground. DarkZero having it locked out. Mint watching for the pipes hall push. Renshiro's going to run right into him if he's not careful. He's trying to look for a lineup by Greycar, but the self-destruction is just not favoring him right now. Tries to spam into it. That gives away his hall position. And now eventually he's going to have to swing forward, try to take this, but just not finding anything right now.
45 seconds and starved for intel is Renshiro. He has 1 impact, but not very much HP as he jiggles back and forth off of security hallway. Some nice lineups here for DarkZero. Staying close to White Van. Quick shot, but no, it's Renshiro downed. DarkZero pick up the first round of OT after Skies makes White Van an unmarked grave.
DarkZero holding the line against that very, very fast push from BDS. They decide, all right, it's OT, might as well make it interesting, and they just try to rush their way into the site after quickly dealing with the Electric Claw and popping open Garage. And it nearly works, too. They're almost able to leverage trades. The problem is Mint, man, just completely destroyed the team on the white van push.
Oh, Skies.
Oh, was it Skies?
Yes,
My bad. I thought, sorry, that was Mint. My bad.
It gets the best of all of us, guys. It gets the best of all of us. Don't worry. But no, it was Skies all day. That was truly incredible what he was able to pull off. 81 bullets, by the way. Did you know that?
It's a very, very full gun.
Know that? Yeah, the gun doesn't shoot as straight with an ACOG or something like that. I don't really know.
Attackers need to locate.
I'm telling you, like them taking that away from that gun just made that gun even worse.
I mean, now it's more of like a gunfight gun. Wow,
It's literally
been quicker.
It's so insane. If you guys noticed, when he went to go swing on the man that was coming to the south side of White Van, he pre-fired the entire way. Like from when the angle started, swung all the way across and just let that all to sing the entire way. That is how you play Maestro. You have 81 bullets. You don't have to be exactly accurate. It's called accuracy through volume. There's so many bullets that you can't possibly miss.
And so, with that, that's going to open up a great opportunity for Skies to rip apart the rushed attack from BDS, which, like I said, didn't really seem like it was all that bad. Just so much trouble getting past the Maestro, and it cost them at the end of the round. Even though the best efforts from Shaiko and Renshiro to bring it back are replied, and they come very close.
That was very pivotal. The only issue that BDS had when it came down to the 2 versus 2 is that Renshiro wasn't able to assist Shaiko in any right. He tried to cut off, he tried to cut off the door if somebody was going to rotate through security hallway, but that was his misstep. If he would have went through kitchen, it would have helped out him so much more. He would have assisted Shaiko almost immediately, would have more than likely gotten a kill. But again, hindsight is 20/20. That's why we sit here and commentate, and they sit there and play.
So about 40 seconds into our next round, DarkZero once more moving in to take admin control. It is against a basement attack, though, in case you haven't caught our silhouettes down there inside of, well, the basement. And they're going to be working pretty quickly to try and clear out this second floor, which is not really being defended much at this point by BDS. You do also have the Clash in play. I believe this is the first time we've seen it utilized on the basement defense, whereas previously it was used, well, 3 times at CEO and Meeting. They're going to try and use it in that same spot, though, to hold against the yellow take.
This is such a BDS move. This is something that they've done with RXWD for a very long time. Play with him on yellow. They used to do bandit tricking with it a lot, but obviously since their setup right now is more gunfight heavy, then they really don't want to do that. And obviously, they've been playing a lot of Zofia and the likes of Hyper. So those concussions, you can just concuss the Clash and then try and shoot the bandit behind them. The issue is now, though, their top fragger, Alems, has been down. Where is he? He's crawling down admin stairs right now. Mint's pre-fire probably going to stun, but no, he's not going to get aggressive onto it. So they'll be able to pick up Alems. Concussions pour in as they're actually shooting him from the top. Quite a bit of damage done to RXWD as they continue to try and fight with admin stairs.
A little over a minute remaining for DarkZero to complete this push. BDS still with a lot of control, especially towards the back site. Garage not necessarily as much, though. They may have actually taken a page out of DarkZero's own book, where they took an incredibly passive stance on defense back in round number 1 of this very map. But at the same time, there's still a couple of very big obstacles in DarkZero's way to take front garage control, one of them being RXWD on those yellow stairs, which they've yet to really fish out. He's got additional support coming in from the backside as well, so they are having problems figuring this out. Shaiko with a nice find as well, takes off Hot and Cold's head when he tries to finally push up on the garage.
That is such a big issue. That's diffuser down outside. Somebody has to come and pick that up. And not that BDS may know that. Obviously, points are off for Pro League play, so not going to have to worry about them knowing exactly. But now DZ gets aggressive. Hyper's the only one to get himself a kill. That's going to be Renshiro. But not before he quickly gets traded by Alems, the man who was picked up off the stairs. BDS making quick work of this basement defense. And now we're in max OT, folks. 7-7 DarkZero on defense.
DarkZero really getting desperate to try anything against that Clash in the late round. 2 separate players try to swing and knife the Clash to force her to send her shield flying to the side and opening up a short little 2-second window to shoot her in the legs and kill her. However, as you saw, there were multiple players positioned both in security room and back in cafeteria to punish that type of play. So DarkZero are swiftly eliminated when they are forced into the execute. And now we'll rotate back upstairs. DarkZero is back onto the defensive side, but The site locks from their one round before do carry over, so they cannot play into the basement again. They've got to go to a different site.
Okay, well, we're headed back up to CEO meeting. The last time that we saw the site play, DarkZero won it, but BDS has already won an attack here. Last time they brought Habana, Thermite, Nomad,
Attackers need to locate
Zofia,
enemies
and
as many
Sledge.
times as they can.
So, looks like we're going to be going for the exact same thing. We did have a 6 pick off of her Gridlock. I kind of like the pick, I'm not going to lie, but Alems is going to decide to move away from that. They really, really needed that in order to stop Eclipse from what he did last time. That was the whole reason that DarkZero won this site the last time, was that Eclipse was able to move freely throughout the map after he dropped from Projector when he got pressured.
So once more, that opportunity shall open itself up for Eclipse. So he'll try to play behind the CEO desk and hold it. And as you mentioned, if things go wrong, he can rotate back down through the hatch and swing either on Yellow or Visa stairs to try and come back against the team later on in the round. Spawn is coming out right now for BDS. They've been unleashed upon the field. Everybody's spawning over towards the gas station, so we should expect some Yellow pressure early on here to start off the round.
Well, DarkZero going to have a Yellow hold as well. Hyper setting up some ADSs. Obviously no Thatcher in play as he has been banned along with Mute, Echo, and Capitao. But this will be the last round of that no matter what. Whichever team wins this either forces us up onto Coastline or DarkZero will win. BDS, once again, going to be on the offense. Alems and Shaiko topping the scoreboard, and Alems, again, has looked so good with this squad throughout this entire tournament. Had a slow start to the border, but now he's firing on all cylinders. Hot and Cold's already been lit up a little bit upstairs. That smoke needs to stay alive with those toxic babes. They're extremely important to how this round goes.
Time continuing to tick down now. BDS still posturing for control, but not too stressed as of yet. They've got bottom Yellow pretty much locked down along with a large portion of the first floor here. They'll drone up, yep, that'll give them the position of one of their players, and he'll throw down a second ADS just to try and throw them off, hopefully getting them to waste a frag grenade or something else important in the process due to them not having droned out the second one.
Yellow control now. ADSs pour in from BDS, but nothing to stop Hyper just yet. A bit of a pre-fire, last stun to pour in. That's going to be all of his ADSs burnt. Plenty of time wasted. Hyper gets one, but gets immediately traded by RXWD inside of the bathroom. Still has the skeleton key to be able to work below. It's very, very important if he's able to make the people move inside of Projector. Plenty of holes made now, though, but not having Shaiko is a very, very pivotal thing inside of this round. Shaiko has been able to get so many frags throughout this game that have been round-changing. But now we're going to see the Evil Eyes that destroys a drone. We have already had the adjustment from Eclipse. He's made his way downstairs into the bathroom. Alems, though, inside of bathroom himself, all the way upstairs now. But he's the only one there. Shiro planting, BDS, but no, it's going to be a Toxic Babe as well to match up with it. He's sticking it, but he's going to be down, but still into the post plant. Rafal? No, excuse me, Eclipse making his way into Piano. Rafal gets a kill, Nitro Cell out. Will it kill him? It will. Alems, though, with yet another RXWD and Alems in a 2 versus 2 with Skies and Eclipse. This is for all the marbles, folks. Are we going to map 3, pressuring with the shotgun? Oh, he gets him. He downs him. He needs to find the last, though. Do they know that RXWD is inside of Pantry? There's only 15 seconds left. There's not going to be much time to try and trade this. They have to look for it. He goes for the diffuser, but no, he's looking outside. RXWD with the clutch. There's no time left, folks, and we're going to map 3.
So unfortunate for the folks on DZ that they can't get the confirmation that they actually downed the player that jumped out the window until after he completes the leap. And as a result of that, that's why he follows him out to get the confirmation, not because he wanted the extra kill, but probably because he didn't know if he actually downed it. Remember, those points are off for pro play. So that threw him off, forced the extra rotate, and did not give them the 2v1 man advantage in the final situation. So BDS takes it at the end of the day. We will go the full distance of this series to decide who goes on into that upper bracket semifinal and who must be our first team to go down to the lower bracket. Yes, that's right, lower bracket here of the playoff stage. That is going to do it for myself and Stokes for this game. Once again, then we'll be back for map number 3, and we are very excited about it. But let's head over to the analyst desk to break things down for map number 2.
Yeah, that was a bit of a turnaround in comparison with map number 1. It seems like the tables have completely turned. And now, BDS, off of a massive mistake, a beautiful pick to get the Warden. Eclipse diving out to confirm the kill. Unfortunately, he didn't know because in pro competitive play, you don't have the points. And he didn't know that he actually downed the sledge first. In that case, if he had actually seen it and stayed in the bathroom, the game would have been different. Sky's already rotated as the Valkyrie. That is such a shame to watch, but it's those tiny mistakes that make it so close between these two teams. BDS, DarkZero are going to Coastline. We'll talk about that in a minute as the two teams go away, go to the bathroom breaks, and then come back here. Let's talk things through in Consulate, okay? What really stood out here for BDS, because it seemed like they were really struggling early on, Jess.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the huge factor here is RX. And I'm going to point that out because they decided we're going to adapt. We don't know how to combat all their vertical plays, so instead of throwing people down there and dying consistently, what we're going to do is we're just going to strengthen our horizontal gameplay. And they added the Clash, they added Raphael at one point with the Dock to try and boost that up, they added extra ADSs, and they adapted, and that's why they came back.
And in all fairness, TC just simply took too long to realize that, you know, killing the Dock would have been way more beneficial for you than fighting the Clash. Leave Clash on the stairs and then get the double kill or the Sophia Ash Charge kill on Dock. It's guaranteed when he's playing in. There's no ADS stacked or anything. So if you get the Dock out, well, now you can lock off Clash and she's not that dangerous.
And you know, one thing we were hearing here, I don't know if it was really caught on the stream or not, but we could hear the two teams obviously communicating because they're sitting across from us, and Alems was actively calling throughout the entire game. The man was on fire and making sure that everybody on the team is always active. Let's go. We don't go down, keep the momentum, keep the adrenaline rolling. RX at some point, though, got extremely frustrated as BDS got closer to winning. DarkZero started to fight back and going to overtime. RX went mad, and we thought that this was gonna be it. This is what breaks them down, but Alems recovered and held them together. How does that work, really? You being a coach here, Jess, sitting behind your players and making sure that they can calm down and recover to that right mindset. How do you do it as a coach, and how do you expect your players to be doing it too?
Yeah, look, at a LAN environment, you cannot speak to your players. You get one timeout and that's all you get. So it's absolutely integral that they have the capability independently to be able to not tilt, number one, and if they do, to just calm everyone down, get them back onto a normal level and go, okay, new round, new us, and this is what we need to do. And we did see a lot of emotions on BDS, I'll say, but I did think Alems was the calling card there to go, all right, this is what we need to do, this is how we need to feel, boys, let's pep up.
How do you do that in the game itself? Just talking about players doing it independently. Do you rely on an IGL or a shot caller to do it?
I mean, it comes down to different teams, right? We've seen teams where actually just yelling very loudly at each other fixes the problem, at least for that game.
G2.
And yeah, exactly. It worked here as well. I would probably, if I was them, really, you know, take a breath for next game, because that amount of communication, it was very, I don't speak French, but there was a lot of communication happening at the same time on top of each other, and not everything was call outs.
That's very true. You can hear it very clearly, that's for sure. Not as much on DarkZero's side, but it seemed like they were a bit more coordinated in the end. Small mistakes is really what makes it. But this is the thing. You're at the biggest stage in all of Siege. A small mistake can just ruin the entire trajectory. But that was map 2. Okay? So far, extremely close in the matchup. We're predicting it where DarkZero would walk in a bit more comfortable into this. But now we go to Coastline, a map that DarkZero kind of hid and put away for so long to bring it out against Empire in the groups, and yet still there. Didn't really work out too well against them. They played it a second time, things went a bit better, but is this really the map that DarkZero would have been looking for? Because they banned out the cafe in the map vote.
I'm a little bit worried about teams who do hide a map so heavily for so long and they only practice it in scrims, and scrims is such a volatile environment to see whether or not that's a map that you actually perform at a competitive level well, because scrims are not really the highest competitive level you can go to. They're for practicing, etc. And I think to whip it out here is, you know, sort of a G2 kind of ideology there. It worked for them well, I'm going to say mediocrely well. Once. It didn't work for them the other time, and I think coming into this particular map, you're going to have people peeking left, right, and center. If you're not prepared, you're not holding the rotates, it's going to be extremely difficult for them. So I actually think, and I'm going to be pretty confident and say that BDS can take this last map.
I mean, it's definitely not a map that BDS is uncomfortable on.
Yes.
Let's put it like that. It's not like if Villa was to go through where you can say that they kind of messed up. Coastline is going to be that's going to be one killer map, and this is the first time I think that BDS is just I wouldn't want to be in DC right now.
This is what happens, though, usually with BDS and Coastline. They always stay in the office. They play between office, blue bar, and security, and they always double, even triple up, even if they're defending upstairs in hookah, which is the most common site to play on Coastline. How do you deal with that? Because just stunning and going is just not going to work when you have so many different angles to watch for.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a lot of DZ players and a lot of really good droning, hot droning specifically, to be able to push these players out. DZ are very strong with utility, so I'm not fussed that they will struggle with being able to sort of flush these players out. But I will worry that they are not aware of all the angles that BDS are aware of, and that's where they'll go downhill.
I mean, surely they figured out how to take the bottom control. You know, they prepped and allowed to play it against Empire. That means you have some sort of really good idea what you want to do on DC's side. Though it could be on the roof. You know, get some info on where Shaiko's hiding, go for him, lock him down, and then slowly worry about just getting small segments of the map.
Final pointers, operator bans. Jess, what do you expect?
I did expect last map to see, or I should have said the first map, to see a little bit more of the hard breaching bans, but now we're not seeing it. So I think DZ will keep with Capitao, etc., especially on Coastline, but I just don't know.
I don't know what BDS would go for. If I was DC right now, I'd ban Hibana. Just give a little bit of breathing room. A lot of those Hibana holes really hurt them. It gives them a little bit of safety.
Fair enough. In the end, BDS, can they actually take this and move on forward and drop DarkZero to lower bracket? Because remember, if DarkZero or BDS lose here, they're still not out. There's still another chance.
I'm going to say yes. And at the first map, I would not have said yes. And now that we're standing here, I'm saying yes.
BDS move forward. All right, Alex.
If they can keep that fire going they had after their little discussion and they settled that now, I think they're going to take it. If they keep that amount of communication up, I don't think they can.
All right, well, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for all that beautiful input. And yeah, you can tell our entire mindset has been changed throughout the series. Map number 3, though, between DarkZero and BDS, it's EUNA and it's Coastline. Blue, Stokes, take it away.
Thanks very much, Milosh. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for that third map. Coastline is the battleground to finally settle this series, which has been going on now for quite a while. These two teams, though, both looking to move on, both looking to move into the grand finals with that one map advantage, but only one of them can have it. Lion is going to be our first ban, however, from BDS. We've been seeing a lot of Lion Dokkaebi combo play coming in at this LAN, and they are going to want to choose to get rid of that potential snip, especially when you consider how much BDS likes to roam and just move in general. We've got that pre-predicted Hibana ban that the analysts talked about from DarkZero, really the only impactful hard breacher you'll have on this map. And to follow that up, Echo will be the next to be knocked out.
Just repel down square. It's fun. It's good. Don't worry about it. I'm sure you won't get shot. It's okay. It's all simulation anyways. No one really dies.
That's true. Just a training program.
Just go for it. Just go for it.
Maestro.
But no, we're gonna have the two big bad anchors banned out, Echo and Maestro, Hibana and Lion, as Blue has walked us through already, and the reasons behind that. But as you guys heard, it's a unanimous BDS victory across the desk. So not very many people going dark for the time being.
Good case for that, too, when you consider how much DZ struggled on this against Empire, especially when it came to hookah billiards attacks. They were coming very, very close a lot of the time, but faltering either by the lack of an angle or just lack of intel and time to get that intel, more notably towards the end of the round, because they spent so much time clearing out those key players like Joystick and like other players as well on Empire that were getting into their way, such as Dan.
And I love what Jess said about DarkZero and Coastline. The fact that they have 17 bans on the map, but they haven't played it too much in actual matches, might not prove to be the best option. Again, hiding maps is a good thing, but you don't truly know if your strats are built to last until you play them inside of that highly competitive environment. Because what scrims are made for is for you to try new things. The other team could be going through entire role swaps. You could have Shaiko just strictly playing Thatcher the entire time. You never know what you're walking into when it comes to a scrim. So just because it works in scrims does not mean that it works in games, and DarkZero might have that issue right now.
All right, well, DarkZero is going to get their first spawn onto the field right now. We brought them out. Now it's time to see what they can do. Got the double reinforced area going on the inside of Hookah, which should allow for more play in the upstairs hall. Away from that, Shaiko will roam in the lobby with that electronics jammer, which is going to prevent him from being spotted out by any drones that swing by him, making him a very, very dangerous roamer if left unchecked.
BDS with a very extended hold here, but what else would you expect? This is Coastline. Looks like the starting position for DarkZero is going to be into Penthouse as drones roll in through the bathroom. Some buck deconstruction down the wall. Into Guitar. So, as we gain this information, we'll see how DarkZero wants to try and take this attack onto the double bar. They need that vertical pressure in order to get this plant down, which is going to be a very difficult thing. We already had the mute jammer set up by Limbs, and instead of Shaiko's regular Jaeger, he's on that Vigil.
Renshiro coming very close to contention, but it's actually going to be Hyper up on top of the main stairs, beating Shaiko to the punch and taking him out of play. Not going to be the only aggression we'll see towards these main stairs, though, and well, Hyper's ready for another fight if it comes his way. Lems will be on the other side of it this time. It seems Lems heard the reload. But again, it's not going to be too keen on pushing more forward. Does spot him out at the bottom of the stairs after we see Hyper throw his drone down. But again, neither team wants to take the fight. Lems is just going to end up backing away closer to office as the phone call comes out.
Hyper not getting too aggressive either. He knows that he already has to control the upstairs. He doesn't want to risk his body in order to get another kill. So very smart play here from DarkZero, being reserved when they have to be. Spot a mute on Vibes, but the mute will actually play very, very close. A pre-fire here, but some more skeleton key work done to the floor. And Renshiro kills Sky, so that's going to be the Ash that we just saw upstairs. Shots ring through. Renshiro, plenty of damage to him behind the bar, but he moves to Harry Potter, where Lems is found on Vibes as they continue to try and find their way up. Hot and cold and pretty hot water now, though, because no one's holding his rotation. This could be very, very bad if someone's able to work their way upstairs. BDS is shifted off-site now on both separate sites. They're just playing them from the kitchen as well as the bottom of Vibe stairs. We have had Renshiro actually shift into blue bar, though. He's going for the rotation hole. Hot and cold gets a grenade kill, but it's not going to be the Valkyrie. Valkyrie's actually been downed. It's all down to, actually, no, that's been confirmed. There's just so many kills flying from DarkZero. Rafal, the last one, he's on Vibes, gets a kill onto Hyper, but it's the 1v3 now. They know where he is. Mint can go for this plant. He's just waiting for the smoke to actually dissipate behind the bomb chassis as he starts to put that diffuser down. Goes for a shotgun through the window. A quick flick from Hot and Cold, and DarkZero start off Coastline right.
Certainly some quick thinking from Rafal there towards the end, but it is read far too quickly by Hotton as the... Oh, nice little swing from Hot and Cold there too to get that.
I told you it was nasty. That. I didn't even have to see the kill cam. I knew it was nasty.
Very well done by him. But overall, DarkZero struggling a tad in the early round to maintain control, but further on towards late round. First of all, countering out Shaiko right from the beginning of the round certainly plays into their favor. Then following that up, being able to get the top-down play, primarily that enables them to push their way in towards Sunrise. Not only that, but catching the players from BDS that were recommitting further into Sunrise in the late round once they knew it was being pushed from the pool door. Unfortunately, that led to the death of quite a few members from BDS and eventually gave DarkZero the room they needed for the plant.
Very good early clear from DarkZero as well upstairs. Got immediate control of that and held the staircases. That was the most important thing. Shaiko tries to come up white stairs, gets thwarted by Hyper, and then DarkZero is able to do everything they want to upstairs with soft destruction in the flooring, making those vertical angles, and that's what double bar is all about, folks. Got to make sure to get that vertical pressure. I know we talk about it all the time, but again, this is Rainbow Six. That's some of the most important stuff in the world when it comes to these maps. Making sure you make it to where the defense can't rotate towards you. Got to hold down those flanks, making sure you get pressure on site. DarkZero with, once again, a very, very good round. BDS, though, is going to get a little bit more aggressive. 2 Valkyrie cameras outside for Renshiro, and we could be going fishing.
Renshiro going to just check the one sitting up on top of the light. He does spot Eclipse in the distance, too. And says bye-bye to him as he goes out the door to find that first pickup for his team. That's a pretty big piece of utility, also eliminated from DarkZero, as it's the Dokkaebi that goes down. Those are those phone calls you were hearing in the last round. That's where they come from.
Yeah, if you could possibly pick somebody else for it to be, you'd want it to be Skies. Ash's utility not the greatest when it comes to the overall grand scheme of things. She's just really good at killing people. Mint gets one, though, with a trade back onto a Lems, so no more Mozzie. So Renshiro's camera's still doing a lot of work for BDS, but now somebody's died because of them, trying to get aggressive off of those peaks. Didn't notice that anyone had already worked their way over into ruins. But now DarkZero's run into an impasse. There's some Mozzie pests on the doors into Hookah, so they can't get the immediate information that they want. The rest of BDS, though, upstairs for the time being, as DZ is taking hold of the downstairs.
Certainly still a greater loss of utility for DarkZero at this point. However, with BDS losing only their Mozzie, the pests already being pre-placed at the beginning of the round, and some shotgun play here to try and take out, I believe it was Renshiro, but he's going to end up falling back over towards Cool Vibes anyway. Hyper doing his best, working with Hot and Cold to try and isolate him out, but only knocks off about 25 HP due to a skeleton key shot that primarily went through the floorboards.
And 20 seconds left. DarkZero making pretty decent work right now. Lots of information. What else would you expect from these guys? Making sure the Valkyrie's still in the same place. Remember, the longer Renshiro sticks here, more DarkZero is going to have that. They know the general area. That's a very, very good tool, because Renshiro is more than likely not going to leave Vase/Hookah. They need that positioning. Hot and Cold has worked his way into Sunrise downstairs. DarkZero's had this control for a while, but now they know Shaiko's on the flank. He saw him rotate into kitchen. He goes for the peek. Hot and Cold rips his head off, but not before Renshiro gets skies with a very nice deagle shot. He peeks again, almost gets two, but Mint now for the double kill. 3 versus 2 as BDS is trying to fight them off of Hookah balcony, but they also have the double window control. The last 2 remaining members of BDS currently sitting in a side base as they equalize. Hot and Cold gets one. Doesn't know exactly where the last one is just yet. Heard him hop into Hookah. You can see him trace him with those, but the Grishmont mine's going to go off. DarkZero stands up. Hot and Cold with a nice headshot. Rafal dies. DarkZero 2 in a row.
A little bit chaotic there at the end, but once more, DarkZero getting the job done. Some early aggression thrown out by BDS is quickly traded as they continue to try and throw that same exact aggression at their opponents, and it fails in the second attempt.
That was Zofia concussions, by the way. There was no Ella in play. It just went off like right when he went through the door, so my brain was like, Grishmont mine. No, it's concussions from Hyper, so some great team play there from DarkZero, and honestly, amazing utility use from Hyper, using those. Wow, Hot and Jesus Mary.
7-0. Going off right now.
You need some assistance with that duffel bag? That's not even a backpack anymore, man. That is a lot of kills. And
check bag.
Yeah. Matt just said, Hyper, tell you what, man. You can sit down for the time being. I've got this one. You don't worry about this.
You put that bad boy on wheels. You can't put it on your back.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one you have TSA handle. That's it.
All right. Well, DarkZero well ahead right now at 2-0, with Hot and Cold having a very hot game at this point. Looking to see if he can continue that on for a few more rounds here. We'll see if that'll be the case. Building himself up to be really an unstoppable force. Anything is to continue on into future rounds here. It's going to be the Hookah defense once again, however, from BDS. They'll attempt to take control here. Renshiro setting up one Valcam downstairs inside of the Sunrise bar. Now getting ready to run out the pool door to find the seconds.
That's Coastline for you. You don't see very many plants here. It's a team deathmatch. Renshiro runs out of Mudroom, doesn't find too much. Skippers back on into Sunrise to join the rest of his teammates as DarkZero takes the field. 15 seconds into the round, though, so you already know it's early days. Need to get that drone work going once again. Shaiko's still on the vigil. He's been on this the entire time. RXWD has taken control of that Jaeger that we know Shaiko for, but the vigil's going to help him out a lot more in this case. Able to avoid drones and all of the sort, but you obviously do still make noise. Not as good as Nook, but still very, very potent if used correctly. This is very dangerous for RXWD. He rotates into offices, gets droned out, logic bomb in, has Shaiko inside of his Sunrise as Hot and Cold begins to bear down. And as we've seen from the shots throughout this game so far, in this map in particular, Hot and Cold is not missing.
Really at all here. So, LM's going to open up some teeny tiny little bullet holes for him to play towards from behind the bar inside of Hookah. Rest of the team, well, Shaiko in this instance is finally being forced back from his position inside of Sunrise Bar. Wasted enough time, and there's too much pressure barreling down on him from his opponent, so he needs to get back to the site. Second phone call, I believe that one is going to be thrown out. No longer going to be able to get that sound until later on into the round here. But DarkZero also working on quite a bit of drone presence. They'll spot out that Valkyrie cam more than likely on the top side. Oh, man! Hot and Cold with the nade right underneath of Rafal's feet. I didn't know attackers had nitro cells, but apparently they do. RXWD now must hold on to the cool vibe stairs. Shaiko with the first trade back, though, as he finds the lineup from the inside of Billiards to be able to take out Hot and Cold.
Gonna assume that's the one through the drone hole. Skies tries to chuck an EMP at a barricade, but we all know how that goes. It ricochets off, falls back down to the earth because of gravity and Mother Nature, and goes off, not getting any electronic equipment. DarkZero already has plenty of control now, though. They've already cleared out all of the downstairs. Hyper on the double window, so this could be a plant very quickly here. Shaiko, obviously not smoke, cannot smoke off this plant. That was Rafal there before, and he was the first pick for DarkZero. Shaiko's gonna have to get aggressive with this gunplay, otherwise this is more than likely going to be a plant. They're going to burn off his back once again, so Shaiko's going to have to play closer and closer to the wall, but all the angles are already being held down. It's going to be a down for a limbs through some bullet holes, but Hyper gets the first kill of this plant experience onto Shaiko. Concussions pour in now as they're trying to fight for more map control. Almost stands up into some bullets through Vase, but instead RXWD gets lit from Skies on Hookah Balcony. Limbs gets another. Diffuser's still down by the bomb chassis. They're letting the Limbs make this work. This is so troublesome for them. Skies tries to work his way in, but it's the Elim show as he goes for a triple. Eclipse runs inside, but it's a quad and Elims, the new addition to BDS, making sure that DZ gets stumped at the door.
Elim's the angle king, basically, right there in that round. Just has a tiny little bullet hole set up, and for some reason it takes the players on DarkZero the entire round to finally figure out where it's coming from. Just not able to isolate out that pressure, and even when it starts to finally swing against his direction, still manages to pick up that fourth kill and close out the round. Beautifully played from the inside of the hookah bar.
Fantastic play from DarkZero as well there, but BDS, again, as you said, a great way to counteract what they wanted to do, especially with Rafal dying so early on. That diffuser post-plant was going to be extremely difficult. You can't smoke them off to try and waste any time. They're going to have plenty of time holding those angles and making sure that you can't peek. So that was truly all in the limbs to be able to continuously get those kills through those bullet holes. And I know that those affect everyone's games. Bullet holes are quite annoying, let's be honest. But when it comes down to pro play, they still have an effect, and that's the main thing to highlight. It's not just the people at home, it's everyone all the way up to this level. DarkZero not able to find Limbs as he gets 2 kills through that same exact lineup. Truly impressive.
And 2 more later on in the round as well. We saw something similar from him actually on attacking side when they played against Rec yesterday, where he had one round where he literally just held an angle on border, leaning into the armory door. Just held the angle for probably a good minute or 2 straight, and ended up with a triple kill on it. So some really similar stuff coming out there in that last round, harking back to yesterday's game to a certain extent. Really great work from Elims on these static angles. The door opened up here to the outside run out. Not going to see much come from it, at least not this early on, though, from Renshiro. He does have the camera set up to do this. It seems as though they're aware of it. Elims, though, elsewhere on the map, is set up for one of his own. Renshiro tries to go for the pick. No damage connected, though, and he loses just under half of his HP in the process.
So the question is, does this match go from DarkZero versus BDS into Elims versus Hot and Cold? Because that's kind of how it's felt throughout this entire map so far. We'll have to get back to that one, though. DarkZero, plenty of drone work coming in. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock after they've already lost 1 soldier in the likes of Eclipse. It's 2 early picks for him on that Dokkaebi. It's going to be very bad as well, since you don't have access to those logic bombs anymore. You can't get as much pressure onto the site as you once could. You know where Elims is now, though. He's inside of offices, a very well-placed drone sitting on the office table from Hot and Cold. Going to try and buck open the top and apply some pressure, but they need somebody there. You can see the IQ of Skies getting closer to the office door here. As he opens it up, he's ready for Hot and Cold to start bucking things to force him to move. Gets rid of the only safe lane here as they dance back and forth. But as you see, Shaiko's already to the rescue inside of Sunshine. They need to rotate here and get some assistance, but no, it's the wrong time. Oh, can he go for 2? He cannot. Plenty of damage dealt to him, but an immediate refrag. And that's the beauty of Siege there, folks. Some amazing comms by both of these teams to make that happen.
Right, set up to commit themselves immediately to finding those trades. Doesn't really go in anyone's advantage, though. Still into a 3v3, but it serves to help BDS, wasting a massive amount of time. Now DarkZero, however, getting office control, going to start leveraging that closer towards the double bars, which is their intended destination. A lot of players just holding static angles right now on BDS, not wanting to move it around too much. Mainly because, again, they don't have that much left to work with at this point. 50 seconds remaining as well. RXWD is doing all the heavy lifting from trying to change up these angles. And now, the floorboards that were opened up on top, if we don't see DarkZero move soon, it could become their graveyard here over the next couple seconds. Hyper moving in. He actually catches RXWD, trying to sneak up on the team. And now that's going to be only 2 left, just the site defenders remaining for BDS to save this round.
This is huge. Nitro cell burnt from Renshiro. Rafal still working on those smokes. Has 2 remaining, so he can deny these last 20 seconds. Mid's going to have to find some safety, and he will. He starts going down for the plant here. Stops it once, though, as he's starting to take damage. See a rotation in. Hot and Cold has worked his way inside of the bar. This has to be a kill, and it will be. Rafal still winning the round out. He gets down, though. It's all left up to the Renshiro upstairs, the Valkyrie, as the plant's starting to go down in the corner, but it's going to be an adjustment again. They need to get on this diffuser now. Mint shifts over behind the couch inside of double bar here inside of blue. Hyper works his way to the bottom of the staircase, though, as Renshiro trying to find another angle with this Deagle cannot. Does he have any ammo in the primary? It's not the best gun in the world, but it's going to have to work right now. He's sticking with the Deagle in hand instead of using that MPX, probably because of that damage margin. Might have got a call that they think somebody is low or whatnot. Hot and Cold still down, so this is technically a 2v1. Mint's ready for the hop out as well. They're holding all of his exits except for Courtyard. If he takes Courtyard, he's still going to be safe for the time being. That's exactly what he's going to take, but Hyper heard him drop. He's waiting for the jump over. He pre-fires, and DarkZero has 3 offensive rounds.
And a really intense round overall there for both teams. Almost all the fighting taking place over towards the office quadrant and the blue bar, with just a little bit of a skirmish happening upstairs on the inside of Aqua. An incredibly contained round for both teams, but DarkZero gets the better of it, handles the office situation beautifully, and then very carefully gets themselves the plant, despite knowing that they had to deal with a top-down presence that had the soft destruction being played by Renshiro there. Just not close enough for Renshiro, unfortunately, to get the job done, and he loses the scent of the planter right as we got towards the end of the default timer. Into the next round we go. As you said, 3 rounds right now for DZ. 4 away from being able to close this out, and 2 more away from swapping sides.
If Skies and Eclipse start to make an impact on this, I mean, Skies already did have a huge impact. They traded out inside of Office. That was very important. Got rid of some extremely important fraggers in the likes of Elims and Shaiko. Got rid of both of them in that very small instance there. So overall, big impact on the round. But if Skies as well as Eclipse both step up here, this is heavily going into DarkZero's favor. Like, obviously, Coastline is attacker-sided. We all know this. But BDS right now have been able to get these picks very early on onto Eclipse, where he hasn't had very much impact throughout most of the rounds. Those logic bombs not being able to be accessed, as well as not being able to hack cameras, is super influential if they're able to get it. And when they don't have access, there's no point in obviously having him on that operator.
The setup being completed. A little bit of indecision in terms of what they wanted to do at the hatch there on the inside of Hookah. We're reinforcing it initially, but now they've left it soft, so that is going to be left open for use by DZ should they move in. Decided to take it. Remember, we don't really have Heartbreak potential coming in on this map right now, but it's very rare that we would see teams bring a full-on Thermite here. You'll sometimes see the Hibana, but obviously that's been banned out, and Maverick, again, not really a factor on this map. Certainly not one that we see very often anyway.
No one's rappelling into Courtyard.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about like patches and stuff too.
No, absolutely. You're completely correct. But still, no one, like the main thing that Hard Destruction is brought for on this map is pink, as everybody knows. So you're not going to see anybody try and rappel down into Courtyard. That would not be the best, as we almost had a lineup there from DarkZero onto Vase. Not going to get much, though. Concussion pours in to make sure that no one is inside of the bar, but actually it's going to sail all the way to the bottom of Vibes. Going to drone somebody out here. Yup. Oh, and Legion's on cam as well. Do they know that he's here? Well, Rafal knows now. He'll skipper on back towards site. Already a lot of damage dealt to him, but he's going to work his way upstairs anyway. Valkyrie gets caught. That's Renshiro. Mint with that kill. Very nice early on inside of this round. Very impactful as well. The only issue is that since Renshiro is now dead, he can man all of those cameras, so he can definitely help BDS once DarkZero starts going for this plant.
Half the round gone by. And DarkZero still looking for their path to get into Kitchen, although they've done good work to clear out Renshiro. And now the nade down the cool vibe hatch gets rid of Rafal. Shaiko with the first trade coming in for his team is going to be able to eliminate Mint finally from the equation, and that's an important player to knock out too. BDS are not always finding kills in the early round, but when they are important, and this could be even better. Shaiko walking right up onto a player, droning against Ulfit just in time to take the fight in even fashion, even quick switching over to the skeleton key as he gets lower on ammo, but Shaiko doesn't want any of that. He's long gone, well over into luggage.
Talk about Nightmare Fuel, droning back to yourself and see a lonely Shaiko right next to you. Good bullet exchange there between those two. Not very much HP difference inside of that gunfight as neither one of them wanted to deal with the situation. ADS is still inside of 90 for the defense of BDS. Shaiko's rotated back here just to try and waste some more time. Lim's currently inside of lobby. The only person on site is RXWD, and he only has one more Toxic Babe. DarkZero starting to rotate themselves towards Sunrise, but Eclipse chooses against it. They have other means of travel to go through. Sky is inside of Kitchen hallway. They have to have an impact somehow here, but Hyper catches a nice cross angle, almost gets two, goes for another shot. He gets RXWD after he already refragged. Shaiko gets another one, but it's a 1 versus 2. Eclipse already has a diffuser down, and they know where Shaiko is, but not before he gets the kill onto Eclipse. This is going to be a quad if he's able to pull it off. Hot and Cold's already worked himself upstairs, and now it's a battle between these two. Hot and Cold has had such an impressive game though so far. Shaiko surely hears him upstairs as his feet continue to pitter-patter. Oh, it's a skeleton key though. He's made the angle. It's going to continue to get him off. He's just going to count here and make sure they can't do anything. Continues to pre-fire. Houghton playing this so intelligently. He switches over to the pistol. He's going to continue to buck through. He has all the lineups now. He has to stick it. And Hot and Cold, you smart man, plays it perfectly from upstairs. He's on fire, folks. There is no Cold in his name anymore. It's just Hot.
Starting to feel it too. He's starting to pop off at the end of a couple of these rounds. DarkZero's getting heated. They are this close to taking the win. 3 more rounds separates them from ultimate victory against BDS in their opening match of the playoff bracket. And as for BDS, really need to find themselves something to piece together here. They're going to go back for Hookah Billiards, which realistically is probably one of the weaker attack sides we've seen so far from DZ, including the match they played against Empire. But still, how can you contest against a guy that's going 11-1 with additional support coming in from more players that are 7-3, 3-3 as well from Mint?
He has a higher KPR than 2. I want you to realize that's where we're at, guys. He has a higher KPR than 2. Quick maths. That's how we do it.
I'm not going to do that, but you
never tweet math live. Blue. Never tweet math live. That's 7 teams. That was
talk about that.
Well, for BDS, they're going to shift things around a little bit. RXWD picking up the pole, so you definitely know there's going to be some vertical play here. Might have some Nitro Cells, get some early kills onto DarkZero. Look to Eclipse, though. He's been dying early on here. He's actually been the only opening kill so far for BDS. Otherwise, Hyper, Hot, Cold, and Mint all have an opening kill onto BDS and have all been 3 separate defenders. So this is going to be the last round before we switch sides and DarkZero picks up defense. We saw this all the way back on, I want to say it was the first map. Yes, it was Border, where they were able to 5-1 in the first half, but BDS was very close to bringing things all the way back to OT, not before DarkZero closed it out in 7-5 fashion, though.
Sky's still looking for any of these tossed out Valcams. See, maybe get a chance to spot the second one here, as there was a bit of delay on Renshiro deploying his later on in the round there, but not actually able to catch it at that range. I think it's a little bit further on to his left as it would throw it. Oh, no, Renshiro! Not necessarily going to be able to complete that kill, though. Sky's realized he probably got the down, so he's rushing to try and finalize it, more than likely from Rappel, but I don't think this is going to happen. The revive should go off. However, they could get trapped. They're currently boxed in due to the positioning of that incendiary bolt. Hot and Cold, in the meantime, has moved into Sunrise, taking complete control, and pretty sure got himself a skeleton key kill right there. Another one potentially coming his way if we see the push from Alems go all the way down.
DarkZero was so quick to the trigger to try and handle that after they downed Renshiro, and it works out for them. Get RXWD downstairs, no more pulse, no more cardiac sensor. DarkZero's making good time on this. Not even halfway through the round yet, they already got a peek, and they already have Renshiro and Alems both at lower HP. With having this whole roster up and not having any more logic bombs, that is going to be kind of an impactful thing, but Eclipse still has plenty to offer to the table, especially those frag grenades. We still have 2 frag grenades on Hot and Cold as well. He's been using those so well. They've been practically going off right when they hit the ceiling. He's been so good at throwing these so far.
Shiro and Rafal playing together to prevent any Cool Vibes access from working its way over to DarkZero. And DarkZero has frozen on this. There's going to be a nade attempt to go up. Oh, it does good damage over onto Renshiro, or at least sends him reeling back, but no lower than I think he was already at. So not any actual connection at the end of the day at this point. Under a minute now for DarkZero to at least start the plant procedure. They'll spot up the Mozzie hiding behind the half wall on the inside of Billiards. But no real way to initiate and get any of these guys out of coverage just yet. That's the problem from DarkZero that we've seen even in the past matches they played on this map, is oftentimes they're missing that one extra angle to complete the pinch. That's what they're trying to do with Hot and Cold right now.
Oh my.
They're not getting what they need. Nicely played by Renshiro. Swings out at just the perfect time. Gets rid of Sky just when he's not expecting it. The aggressive smoke gas grenade is chucked out. In the meantime, Hot and Cold finally gets one of his lineups. In the meanwhile, we'll see Eclipse try to leap in, but he goes down. Rafal is able to finish off Hot and Cold with the smoke gas grenade. And now Mint and Hyper are all that's left in a 2v3 situation. Rafal takes out one. Look at this rotate though from Mint. He's gotten right behind them too, gone into his favor. 7 seconds remain, though he's over to the pistol to try and finish off, and he gets it! Oh my goodness, Mint with a 1v3 clutch to give DarkZero yet another round, and it's from his sidearm.
DarkZero on an absolute heater, and Hyper is just laughing after Mint is able to pull that off. Kyle, you disgusting man, you. Playing Capital. The man only has one eye, and he's able to kill 3 people. Truly, truly impressive, and that's what we mean by impact frags, folks. Mint only has 6 kills. But if he did not stand up and get all of those frags at the end of that round, DarkZero would have been looking at 4-2 instead of 5-1. That is one of the most insane period of events I've ever seen in my life. That flick to the man on pink, I believe it was Shaiko still playing there, kills the man quickly, the smoke, laying behind Hookah Bar, and then takes the gunfight inside of Billiards with the secondary. Masterfully done. What an impact frag, and what an impactful round from Mint.
What an impressive half from Hot and Cold once again. We've already highlighted that quite a bit, but just to mention it once more, 13-2 coming off the first half. Amazing control of so many situations for him, even in that round, being a very important player with his position at the bottom of Sunrise Bar.
So since, you know, Hot's popping off and Mint's popping off, we can just call them, Fire and Ice, right? That's how this works? That's how we make this work?
That's what this story is.
It really
Tale
is.
of Fire and Ice.
Tales of Fire and Ice. A song of ice and fire.
Oh, wait, it's a song of ice. I thought it was a tale.
You tried.
Well, I didn't read the books.
Nobody read the books, let's be honest. No one goes to Game of Thrones and goes, oh yes, I've read the books, yes. Oh, how many do you want? I'll take 3.
You're going to make us feel angry.
I mean, hey, I love the show. I watch the show. I'll read the books eventually. It's fine. It's okay.
All right, well, moving on from that topic and back into the game. 30 seconds into the live portion of this round. BDS looking to get themselves access to the walk-in closet from the roof side relatively quickly here. We've also got some VIP control that I think they're going to try and go for themselves here, as they are up against the kitchen assault. Shaiko's pretty much going to walk right in, though. No roam presence from DarkZero on the inside of VIP or the Guitar Hall. And now Renshiro just going to start hitting the floor, letting out some of that rage and hopefully giving the team an angle to pick up a couple kills here.
BDS moving very quickly through kitchen.
Oh, he walks right into it.
Hot and Cold has been blessed by the gods on Coastline. 14-3-2 after that Nitro Cell kill under Renshiro. That's the sledge, and they didn't bring a buck to do anything. Hotton still has a cardiac sensor. He can get hunted down by Alems here if he's able to find a bullet through those metal bars. So Alems obviously knows a pulse is on the field. They already knew that from that Nitro Cell, but Hot and Cold knows that there is definitely an IQ. Another Nitro Cell, another kill. Oh my, DarkZero sends BDS spiraling here. Shaiko trying to find some angles through these holes that have been exploded in the floor where his comrades lie, but now Shaiko dies as well to the secondary of Eclipse. That's a double kill for him in the round. This is the most impactful that he's been throughout, besides those frags, or excuse me, that early drone showing that he was doing after getting those opening kills. RXWD finally finds the first kill here for BDS.
Small gesture, though. A little over a minute remaining here. BDS are already down to just 2 players. The only thing they really have going for them at this point is the upstairs control, but even that has the caveat to it. With only 2 players, you cannot maintain as much as they would like. They'll get the nice spot onto Skies, currently sitting behind the main desk at the front, so at least they know of his position. A little bit of attempted pre-fire down there and take Skies out of the equation. It's not going to lead to the kill, though. Rafal, in the meanwhile, has relocated himself over towards service entrance and is working on a push towards the inside, while RXWD is going to look to hunt down Skies. Whether he knows it or not, he'll also have to fight hot and cold shortly after that.
Well, Skies already knows he's being hunted, so he'll adjust. He's in behind the main desk now. More Toxic Babes go off inside service. DarkZero doing a great job of not giving BDS a chance. You don't want to overpeak this. You don't want to allow BDS to make these hero plays. That's going to be the last Toxic Babe Mint throws right now to the door as they go for this plant. RXWD going to take tons of damage, but that's a double kill. That's what they needed to get this diffuser down. Rafal's still on it. They need to get the kill right now, but no, it's into the post plant. Both guns up. BDS has a chance after that terrible lineup through the kitchen door. It's down to the UMP-45 in Skies with the SMG of Legion. They're holding the cross angles now, though. He gets the first kill on Skies. This has to be huge from Houghton. He has to get a triple in the round. And the cardiac sensor's here. Oh my, he needs to look left. He sees him through the wall, but no, he's looking the wrong way. He had to have back once again. Does he know the air jab's here? Oh, he has plenty of time to try and fake this, and that's what he's going to go for. He's sticking it right now as Rafal gets closer and closer. He pre-fires out, but no, there's going to be nobody home. BDS, oh my. What a blunder from DarkZero.
Unfortunate lineup as they try to shuffle out from their position behind the bomb chassis and inside of kitchen, ending up running right past each other and handing over an easy double kill to what I believe was Rafal in that instance. Opens up the plant angle for the team, and from that point forward, unfortunately for DarkZero, they do not have the angles they need in order to pull off that retake, although they do come very close. The Pulse, unfortunately, mishandling that final 1v1. Still a massive lead for DarkZero, same that we had on Border, however. And this is once again another time where we saw BDS nearly come back. So DZ are not secured of a position in that upper bracket semi just yet. It seems like we may have that extended fight to go deeper into the map once again.
And for DarkZero, that last round just came down to miscommunication on where people were going to travel through. Instead of somebody going for the rotational hold, they both went for the kitchen door into the service area / pantry, and they're both going to get gunned. So for DarkZero, that's just kind of a misstep. Mistakes happen. Again, this is Rainbow Six Siege. We all know this. We all play this game. It happens, man. It just happens. So water off the back, roll into the next round. Hopefully round 8 is more successful because we saw how this happened the last time. DarkZero got a pretty healthy lead, then BDS was able to fight back all the way up to 5 rounds and really make DarkZero feel that pressure. DarkZero needs to close this out early, otherwise BDS can continue to be the comeback kings.
Hot and cold, running out here, trying to see if anything's going to present itself to him. But not the case this time. Would have had to go over there towards the other spawn point where Lems and Shaiko are located at right now. Even they're a little bit hesitant because of that run out too, so they're holding back for a couple of seconds here just to make sure DarkZero aren't trying to throw anything at them. Oh, man. Hot and Cold's playing dirty now.
I wouldn't even hold it. Yep, there you go, Houghton. Move on down the line. If anybody knows anything about Shaiko, it's that even on those pixel peaks, he knows exactly where to shoot, and he'll tear your head off for you. So great respect there to give that up to BDS, but now they have sunrise control, and they see that there is literally nothing stopping them from walking inside here except a shield with a smoke behind it.
That smoke not really willing to contest at this point. First EMP grenade is going to go off over by the kitchen doorway since BDS have control of both of the bars. Rafal is going to reposition himself as he works outside. We'll follow up on that in just a moment. Shaiko, however, is taking the main brunt of the fight over at that kitchen door, which they took control of a couple seconds ago. Burning out the ADSs now. The Lems will strike first, catching Mint just behind B-Bomb chassis. Hot and Cold trying to swing in to take up a similar angle here and potentially find the trade. He's not going to find much. Still with a little under 2 minutes remaining in the round. BDS has made a lot of progress very early on, and this could be great for them to try and rally this into a round win.
Renshiro's worked his way upstairs as well, so we're going to have vertical angles being opened up soon enough inside of Penthouse and VIP. So Eclipse and Hot and Cold are going to have to worry about that. Hyper's still taking gunfights from inside a lobby. Skies is actually upstairs now, though. Don't know exactly where the other BDS member has went. Seems that he's across from him, actually. If Skies is able to maintain this, this could possibly win them around. This is such an important and pivotal angle. Renshiro now working his way up Cool Vibes. They need to get Skies out of here, otherwise this plant is not happening.
Continuing to hold angles as well. Shaiko still waiting for someone on the inside of Kitchen to make a mistake, but he catches Hyper watching those main stairs positions as they rotate someone into it. Oh, he tries to take it further as well. Hot and Cold shuts it down at the bathroom stalls, though, and Eclipse is also able to eliminate Alems. Down to the 3v3 situation. As BDS only managed to keep the number even. As we now are under the 1 minute mark. Renshiro as well has access to the inside of VIP, but is not going to move in and take it. Skies is rotated back downstairs. Eclipse takes down RXWD. That's the diffuser down as well on the inside of the kitchen window. It's going to be retrieved by Renshiro as he works his way back outside. So at least they don't discount themselves of that. But the hold looking so strong right now for DC. Renshiro, though, swinging into Kitchen, finds Eclipse, takes him down in the out in the open 1v1. 2v2, it cannot break this even fight. Oh no! The spray control just not going in Renshiro's way at that last fight as well. And Hot and Cold will shut down that last kill, putting DZ up onto match point.
DarkZero staring down the barrel of a gun after DarkZero has some very early frags to assist them. And BDS just not handling the map how they need to. They needed that top pressure, but Skies took it away from them. They had to recontest for that, but they never went for it in the end. Granted, it is BDS. You guys saw the fragging power. They were able to work their way towards Pantry, got themselves a kill, almost made it happen. But guys, we are 8 rounds deep. Hot and Cold has 17 kills. You want to talk about a pop-off. That man is reading Shaiko like a book right now. He knew Shaiko was going to get aggressive towards stalls right after he got that kill on Hyper. He is on the most 200 IQ level at this point in time for DarkZero, and that's what they need. They need to let Hot and Cold do what Hot and Cold does. And right now, for him, that's playing this dog. He's been playing fantastic throughout the entire series thus far, and to give him a position to where he can do even more is paramount to their victory. That's what needs to happen.
Still managing over 2 KPR at this point as well. Specifically 2.125 is where he's at on the stats department for that one. Heck, that's a pretty easy stat to calculate. So was able to do that one without too much trouble. But yeah, averaging on, just 2 kills per round across this many rounds to keep it going this consistently, that is super impressive for Hot and Cold.
How many kills? I'll take 17, yes. that's literally Hot, and he's got an Amex with no limit, in case you're wondering. That's it.
He's balling out with it right now.
I just realized recently how many Doc memes Parker has been partaking in. There's a lot of them. Anyways, though, for BDS, this is a very, very important round. If they make one misstep, they get knocked down to the lower bracket, and DarkZero continues to be lossless at this tournament. They have not taken an entire match loss just yet. Obviously, they've lost maps, but they have not lost the match, and that's the important thing. Renshiro, though, 5-0-7 on the map. Haven't seen too much from him, but this could be the time for him to turn up. He's one of the bottom fraggers, but he's not too far behind Shaiko, who currently has the most frags for BDS as they stare down this defense from DarkZero that is using a Goyo setup. So that means we have 4 shields in play right now, at the least, between these defenders, and that's exactly that. We're going to have 4 shields.
Set up once again to try and delay. That's a lot of utility that's going to get eaten up by BDS, and they want to try and get rid of those. One will go down in the main hallway, sitting behind the sights. Renshiro continues to look for any duels that he might be able to take from the outside of Huga, but it's very rare that he's going to get that, so looks like a reposition is in the cards for him. As far as the rest of the team is concerned, though, now holding against the rest of this push, moving its way in from Aqua. That seems to be where BDS has found their best chance at it. In the meanwhile, though, Eclipse is going to be able to isolate out Renshiro as he finally attempts to pressure in from the balcony. Trades are going to go all over the place, though. Alems, Mint, Shaiko, all picking up frags right now to ultimately bring this down into a 3 versus 2 situation. Just Alems and Rafal left in the fight. Got the C4 ripped on the open. They're going to try and stop the plan from going down, and there you go. Hyper completes the kill. Alems did find a trade, but he's now alone in a 1v2. DarkZero holding passive positions, not wanting to directly challenge this just yet. They'll hear the fake plant, And Alems, smart to respond on this, was trying to catch the players as they rotated up cool vibes, but no one has committed to it. They heard the typing stop. They know that the plan is stopped, which means he's watching that angle.
Don't have any intel on him, though. You see the defending operators. They need to make their move now. They catch him, and hot and cold! Oh my God! DarkZero knock BDS to the lower bracket after Mint drops damn near 20 kills on Coastline. 7-2, hot and cold 19, 3-3. Overall KPR for that match being at a 2.1 from hot and cold. Incredible match from him. That's going to be one to put down and pay attention to when we look back on this event. Amazing stuff from hot and cold. Amazing stuff from DarkZero as well. Such a tough fight. So many great players on BDS to have to go up against here. But unfortunately, they just could not mess with the best. And specifically on that third map, they couldn't mess with hot and cold, who absolutely destroys them and moves on further into the upper bracket semifinal here for DarkZero. Big congratulations to them. Once again, important distinction, guys. If you are assuming that we are on the same format from last year's SI, you are wrong. Normally, under those circumstances, BDS would have been out right now. They are still in this tournament, but now fighting from the lower bracket. That's going to do it, however, from myself and from Stokes for this match. We'll be back a little bit later on today with another matchup, and we're going to take it over to the analyst desk to break down this brilliant performance from DarkZero.
All right, well, hell of a game here. Bit of anticlimactic map 3, to say the least. You know, we came into this like, okay, BDS recovered. They're really on this. Let's get on this hype train. And then DarkZero slapped BDS down with beautiful coordination. I mean, we're sitting over here listening to the comms, and DarkZero were clear and calm the entire time, timing every second of the plant. Every time they see, okay, he's off the plant, players fall back. Then they just save the time, work the time to their advantage. This is calmness on a different level. This is what DarkZero excels at, the end taking down BDS. But I don't really know what happened to BDS going into this, because it seems like they completely lost their momentum coming into map 3.
I don't know if there's a momentum thing, because I felt the energy. I think it was a coordination problem there. I think they were so used to being able to get those early picks, and when it didn't happen for them here, they stalled out, and that time wasting that happened over and over again just really cost them a lot of rounds, so that's unfortunate.
And if we look at the previous two maps, DC does really well in the start, and then it slowly tapers. It's
Yeah, very true.
It's almost like either BDS figures out exactly what to do and how to really annoy them and get some sort of stick in their wheel, but that just never happened here. The exact moment where you'd probably expect them to start coming back, BDS, is where Skies gets an absolute insane clutch with absolutely no time left.
So in the end, actually, this was, yeah, hell of a game. It's a 7-2 victory in the end for DarkZero. So you got to be pretty happy if you're a DZ fan, if you're a North American fan in general. But if you're a BDS fan, their run is not done yet, because they still can fight through this in the lower bracket. They'll have to play tomorrow, however, because DarkZero saved themselves today. They won't be playing until later on in this tournament. So here we are. DarkZero move on to the upper bracket semi-final, and down below it's BDS, the first team knocked down to the lower bracket. Again, a second chance. We always have it in groups where you have to lose twice to be out, and the criticism was always, yeah, but it's not in playoffs, so it's not really a double elimination bracket. Well, here we actually turn it that way. So if you're a fan of the teams, they're not out yet. Be seeing the losers games tomorrow. Maybe we'll have a knockout. Maybe BDS survive. Their lives are in their hands, and that's what matters.
And the beautiful thing is there's like an actual chance that we get a rematch of every single one of the games.
That's very true. I mean, grand final can literally be anyone.
Yep.
It just depends on, yeah, if you can make it through the upper bracket, you'll have the one map advantage, you'll have the time to prepare and rest, but that's what you get for not having lost a single game.
Right.
But at least you get a second chance to make it through.
Of course.
Okay, well, I guess let's break down Coastline. Even though it was such a one-sided affair, it seemed like DarkZero had control over it on attack, on defense. And on attack, they were able to rack up many, many rounds. What was happening there? Because BDS usually are so flexible on Coastline with the way that they run in office. We talked about it in office, playing inside of security, and none of that was really happening in this game.
Yeah, I think a real weakness there was that they were not adapting quick enough. And when they did adapt, it was really solo adaptation, and DZ's there to collect every time. It doesn't matter if they've got 1, 2, or 3 players waiting. They're there. So I think that was a real weakness of BDS, is the adaptation at all times that they needed. And when they did try it, and we saw it on Consulate, that's why they were able to come back.
Exactly.
They made a good adaptation, and unfortunate for BDS today, the adaptation they made wasn't the right one.
And they were extremely good at like cutting off sections of the map and then only ever fighting 1 or 2 players. And if anyone came to commit, you have a guy on the roof, you have a guy on some rappel somewhere, and losing that one guy going there to help split your entire team. And now, you know, you can choose, are you going to execute on these players just to get them out of the game, or are you going to leave one guy blocking them down and then go for execute? We did see on defense though, a few rounds where they got an immense amount of C4 kills and then kind of botched it. The kitchen round, that was a rough one.
Yeah, that was very much, because you're expecting someone as his guys to play upstairs and kind of try to recover from the top floor, but the diffuser was just waiting on the windows, and you're afraid of it the whole time. They went in, they pushed for the gunfights, and unfortunately, given the information that we had watching, that wasn't really the right play. And there were many times where I would hear the players on BDS side saying, I'm out of drones, I don't have a drone, I don't have a drone. It's a bit of an oddity, because we talk about the drone economy so much and the casters do so often, and now we finally get to see it when we have the pop-up in the new UI. And a lot of times you're like, well, they lost all their drones. They don't really have any info, or they lost the player, so they can't really put themselves in better positions anymore to gather that information. It's a bit of a problem here, and I hope that BDS can fix it for their next matchup tomorrow to survive through the tournament.
I think another huge issue and something to take away from this for BDS guys, and they've got the double elim, so this is an opportunity for them to look at these mistakes, but a huge mistake and something that should have been obvious way before them coming into this matchup was that DZ play vertical probably stronger than any other team I've ever seen play it. And all they needed to do, especially on that kitchen round, was rappel up, open up the VIP double window, and that vertical player is either dead or at least pushed to the side and unable to stop that plan. So very basic things that I'm worried about for BDS. Don't rely on your mechanical skill. Do the basic things you need to win.
That's the word. We always talked about a checklist whenever we're on the analyst desk, Alex, and every time it's the same thing. You're attacking the bottom floor, take control of the top one, clear players out, and then crush them in over the weight of the site. I don't know what was happening there with BDS, and was it really the lack of communication that broke them down?
I mean, it's a much shorter or smaller map, right? It's way easier to get lines of sight and know what kind of goes on. So if you do block off 1 drone or 2 drones, you can't move in that map. You're going to have to fight and get an actual gunfight at some point. And they didn't really clear as a proper group, especially kitchen round where DC actually ends up losing. They still didn't clear top floor. So that's probably one of the biggest issues with BDS. And then, the fact that Hudden drops, 20 kills?
Close to pretty much.
Doesn't make it that easy either, right?
Yeah.
No, well, closing thoughts, I guess, as DarkZero move forward, they'll be playing against the winner of Space Station versus MIBR. That's a game later on for this day, but we still have one more to go for our desk before we move on to the second half of the 4 matches. It's NIP versus TSM, Latin America versus North America. This is after the short break.